let's go.
You know what I mean?
Well, we pretty much have cameras rolling 24/7 at our shop for that reason. And even when I say 24/7, it's still not. There's still sometimes that I'm like, I really missed that opportunity, and I wish that we did. But I think it's definitely a huge part of the future. It's the huge part of now. Even 2024, business is still not doing things on social media and recording almost every single opportunity because there's always something to pull out, something to be able to put on to a social media platform 100%. And use it or it affects somebody.
Yeah, we see it on here even like it's like we have guests on and like I hope that they use the content, right? Like that's like the best case scenario for me is that we bring somebody on and they're like, hey man, I posted that video of me talking about, how I got started rapping or why I do this certain technique and it went viral. And like, that's kind of I want people to use, I want people to take advantage of it. And so before we dive too far off into all that stuff, your name and your company name.
See, we were already
flowing.
I know. Shut it down. Well, my general rule with them, like I told you in the beginning.
15 minutes. I got it.
I try not to talk about myself for the first 15 minutes because, most people, no one wants to hear themselves talk about themselves. And not to say that in like a demeaning, negative way. I like to try to have natural conversations. I don't want to come here to plug myself.
Yep. But so I respect that. Lambert, can you get us a clock up on the screen?
15 minute timer.
Or we want to make sure
I'm not doing that.
We want to stay respectful and make sure that, we're
if you really want to think, we've already been talking already. So
for sure, we've been covering ground. Well, we started talking from last night.
Wrong.
So I appreciate you coming up though. For real,
appreciate you having me up.
I think it's funny that it's unfortunate that your trip up wasn't as great as I would like to.
I want to touch base on that. If that's not like going to just go ahead and get people in on this, if you're still watching on any of the TikTok live. So last night I was coming up here, left the shop a little later than I would have liked to have had, but we had a lot of stuff that we needed to get finished up, trying to get really set up for the next part.
I did catch a little bit of your live last night. So
the rolls. We're trying to finish that rolls up. And so I was planning on leaving sometime around 5:30.
Not the easiest install either. You're going from orange to white.
Orange to white on a rolls, and we're using Hexus. So that was it was definitely a treat trying to make sure that we had that fender done one piece. I mean, minus some of the small inlays, but mostly one piece, not overstretched in any areas.
Was it any kind of special? I didn't notice if it was like a pearl or
Mountain Peak white. Really? It is the closest to BMW Alpine white in a wrap film that you'll find.
Got it.
And the guy that we do everything for, he is like everything's white. His SF90 white, F8 Tributo white, the Bentley Mulsanne we wrap for him white, same color too, all Hexus. So,
and people don't realize like even in the if people outside of the industry may not realize like when a person is that particular, white matters.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like it's not just go cop a roll of white and go to town.
Oh yeah, he came in and went through a whole bunch of colors until he landed on that. He actually was like, if you can't get a color that's like this, I'm just not going to wrap it. I'll paint it.
Oh wow.
That's the kind of guy he is. But back to the story.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're fine. So I'm trying to hurry up and get out of there. My guys left a little earlier. I'm trying to knock some stuff out. I think I left the shop at like 6:30, which is like an hour and some change before I wanted to. And so,
what's your ride up here?
It's right at about 3 hours, I want to say, without traffic.
Yep.
So we're cruising. Traffic is obviously horrible. It's 85 in
holidays too.
Holidays, winter. Yeah, it was total dog shit. And so I'm going up and I'm getting cut off left and right. So at this point, I'm just kind of like pissed off. I'm like, dude, I got cut off by an 18-wheeler. I'm like, yeah, screw this dude. I'm gonna pass him up.
Hammer down.
Yeah, hammer down. I'm going roughly with the flow of traffic, but I'm definitely going over. And I got a piece of shit truck. For anybody who knows what my truck looks like, it's 430,000 miles on a Silverado. It's an old shop truck. And so I'm just blowing doors off right now, right? And I just got some brand new headlights in this thing, so I no longer have candles lighting the streets. And I see something out the corner of my eye. It looks like State Patrol off to the side. I was like, shit.
That reflective? You just caught that reflective?
Just enough. And I was like, shit. And sure enough, he lit me up. And I was like, all right, cool. We're on a busy side. There's nowhere really good to pull over. And the exit was right there. So I said, I'm going to go ahead and pull up to the exit. Pull up to the exit, and he is like cramming in my ass, like trying to get me to pull over. He's hitting the horns, the lights. I'm like, all right, dude, calm down. Let's get somewhere safe, because I've seen way too many stories. We get up, I pull over to the side, put my hazards on. I've got, again, a shitty truck.
Yep.
It's got manual door locks, manual windows. He comes to the passenger side and knocks on the window, and like tries the signal and says something. I've got my headset in actually on TikTok Live that I was listening to.
Oh, that's cool.
So I couldn't hear anything that he was saying. And I went like this right here, and dude lost his shit. He starts trying to, jerk the door open. It's locked. And I was like, he ain't about to jerk me out this car. So I locked my other door. Rolled the window down. He comes over there, starts screaming at me, get out the car, get out the car.
Did he see you lock it?
No, he didn't see me lock it. No, it's not up top. It's a little slide lock.
I got you.
So,
because that right there could just be enough. You know what I mean?
Oh, he was already set.
Yeah.
He was already set off on a trail. He was not having it, right? So, general rule of thumb, his actual law is you have to tell him what the arrestable offense is.
Sure.
Reasonable articulate suspicion. He didn't do any of that. And I asked him, and he said anything over, I think, 16 miles an hour in the state of North Carolina or something like that, or over 80, whatever it is an arrestable offense. And like immediately when I got out the car, that's what he did. Straight up, behind the back, handcuffs. I was like, dude, you have got to be kidding
Welcome
me.
to North Carolina.
Seriously, it's very welcoming.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so this is happening. And he starts running my pockets. He starts pulling everything out. And it's at that moment I realized I'm carrying.
Oh, no.
And
the laws from South Carolina to North Carolina.
Totally different.
Yeah,
totally
I've ran into it. I went to Virginia and ran into a similar thing. Their laws are even different there.
So he's got me in the back of my truck, and he's just going through my pockets. And I look at him, and I said, it's probably a bad time to tell you I'm carrying right now. And he said, oh, really? Yeah. That's also an arrestable offense. It's concealed carry without a permit, yada, yada, yada. And basically, I gave him the long story short, and I said, look, dude, I got no reason to BS you. All this stuff has happened, and this is why. And he took it all as an excuse. And I said, look, man, call it what you want, but, I got no reason to bullshit you. And then he starts questioning, are you on narcotics? Your eyes look, bloodshot, this, that, and the third. And I just started laughing. And he said, you think this is funny? I said, actually, yeah, I do. Yeah. I said, I've told you what's happened, why I was going fast, where I'm going. Right. I said, if you got to arrest me, I'm already in the back of the car at this point. I'm like, I'm in handcuffs.
Yeah, we're halfway there.
We're halfway to the jail cell now. So it's like, go ahead, do what you got to do. I understand what you got to do. I'm thinking to myself, fuck, sorry, Scott. I told you I was going to make it before SEMA. I told you I was going to make it after SEMA. It's not looking like it's going to be 2024.
Yeah, you got to call me and say, hey, man, I'm...
yeah, you were going to be my one call. Yeah. Hey, I need bail money.
You have to come down to Gastonia.
This will make a great story. So, yeah, that was my the beginning of this trip. It's been awesome.
That's so funny, dude.
Hey, I got off. I got a ticket. Nothing that a lawyer won't be able to fix.
Well, and I was surprised. You when we talked last night, you said they didn't take your pistol.
They did not. So
that's huge.
Yeah, and I told the guy straight up everything. I had no reason to bullshit. And I think finally when he calmed down, he saw he said, well, what you did wasn't normal. And I said, could you articulate what I did that wasn't normal? And he said, normally when we light people up, they pull over immediately.
Sure.
And I said, I'm not most people.
Right. Yeah, I mean, realistically, he should have taken it as you being considerate.
And that's what I told him.
Yeah. Like you were concerned that, hey, not oncoming traffic, but just traffic and just trying to be aware of your surroundings. And, hey.
Apparently that was not the case. He brought the whole squad. He had 3 or 4 other troopers pull up on us when we had to. Oh, yeah. Dude, they searched my truck. They legitimately searched my truck. And I was like, and then they found the suitcase, and then they saw clothes in it, obviously. And I'm like, dude, I told y'all what I'm doing.
Sure.
Like, if it was that serious, I could see it, but come on now.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, maybe you told them about the WrapOn podcast. They're tuning in.
I did. If you did, and you happen to be watching this, dude, you got to calm it down, man. It's not that serious.
Just take it down enough.
De-escalate.
So this is kind of cool. So this is the first time that we've ever ran lives like this. So there's 3 consecutive lives rolling. There's camera. We've, of course, we're recording the normal episode of the podcast, but how I found you was through TikTok.
Yep, and it was.
So we hit TikTok hard. Me and Josh both did during the pandemic. We were introduced to it. For us, it was kind of cool because for years, race teams, they didn't want to share anything at all, right? So they didn't, for the first couple of years, we didn't even take our cell phones into the race shops.
Competitive edge.
Yeah, they want to hide everything. And then the other side of it was the marketing, right? So they didn't want to take a chance of somebody bringing in a Coke and they're sponsored by Pepsi. somebody gets the right picture of a Coke in the wrong place, they take a chance of losing $1 million contract.
That makes sense.
And it actually happened. So Daniel Suarez had brought in some Dunkin' Donuts, I believe, and I think he had a Subway sponsor. And I might be messing that up a little bit, but it was something. It was a conflicting, two. And they weren't even really competing, but like they were in the food space, and it just didn't look good, right?
Well, yeah, one's healthy and one's sponsored by Jared. He lost all the weight. Yeah. Can't be bringing Dunkin' back in.
Exactly. So it was like that was a problem, and he lost the sponsorship because of it. And it,
it's wild.
Millions of dollars, right? So as far as like contractors coming in, they want to protect all that stuff. So, like I said, all that stuff was off limits. We couldn't do it. When the pandemic hit, things started to kind of change. It changed for everybody, right? But their perspective. It kind of almost felt like the end of the world, like the end of times was happening, because everybody just kind of was like, well, we don't know what's going to happen. What does it matter? What does anything matter anymore? If you guys want to film, whatever. And then as things kind of like started to see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, it was kind of cool, because it was like, dang, you guys been doing this, and like TikTok's real. Yeah. Like it's not just like young girls dancing, and you know what I mean? Like it's like, this is a real thing. Like maybe we should be a little bit more serious about this. And then as we came out, they were like, hey, do you guys mind like maybe shooting us one, or like, tag us or something, so it was like a complete shift just in like a short amount of time. And TikTok was so like acceptive, you know what I mean? Like they accepted, like they thought it was, the viewership and the organic, like
it's real and it's raw.
Yeah.
It's not highly edited, and it's not, polished.
Right.
And I think that's what people were looking for, coming from Instagram, where you could go fake it till you make it.
Right.
And, take a photo and, whatever vacation you took and edit everybody out or whatever else it is. Right.
Sure.
People were realizing like, hey, there's real people out here having the same bullshit that I have to deal with on a day to day.
Right.
And it's almost like everybody kind of created their own little support group / culture. Right.
Yeah.
It's like a micro culture that turned into just a massive culture.
What was it? We were talking about something earlier. Oh, the fishermen. Remember we were talking about lures earlier, and I was like, there's a whole sector of it. Just is like that. Like who would have thought like fishing as a whole, sure, right? Like they could probably create a cult following with the fishing.
Oh, definitely.
Like I think Josh has pretty much made a career out of doing bass boats at this point, where like he's in with that group, and so he goes and he does his thing.
Yeah.
And so it was awesome. But like to boil it down to like somebody like a group of people that make their own lures, that's pretty damn specific.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, you're getting down to like how many people actually do that. But it's not so much about how many people do that. It's how many people may enjoy like seeing that, because they don't even have to fish to appreciate.
100%. And that's the kind of approach that I took with TikTok Live whenever we started doing lives is, how old are you?
36.
36. So you are around to remember how it's made.
Sure.
You did not even have to own whatever product that was. Nope. Probably never would. But you just watched it because it was the genuine curiosity of cool. Like how exactly it was cool. It was unique. It was something different day to day you didn't see. Right. And so when I used to work for BMW manufacturing, and I thought it was just like a plant job, but I go in there and you see how all these robots work, and you're like, holy shit, like this is actually really cool, like in the day to day. And then it wears off, right? It's like, holy shit, this job sucks. But
well, you said it earlier, the guy that's like putting the one bolt in and that's it.
Yeah, the monotonous just
put in,
couldn't do it.
Yep.
And not me, and that's why I'm no longer there. But
sure.
That same thing, that same curiosity of like coming into something fresh like that could be the difference of somebody else wanting to maybe pursue that as a job or career or whatever else it is. And even if you don't, it's just something unique to watch, right? You get the satisfying videos of people pulling shit off. Very similar. There's a lot of satisfying things from taking a color change wrap or pulling knifeless tape or whatever else. So
well, that's what I was going to say was like, it's one thing to create content, right? Like it's like it has its challenges, and you can go way off in the crazy creative, and you can keep it raw and uncut. TikTok really seemed to
the best of both worlds.
It seemed like they almost promoted it or like encouraged the rawness, right? Like it seemed like those videos, like the real ones.
Oh, they definitely did.
You know what I mean?
100%.
And then so for you and a lot of creators, and I started to say this earlier, and I'm not trying to glorify it or make it sound like it's like this huge accomplishment, but it's kind of, there's a select group of people that can really feel comfortable just going live. You know what I mean? Like even now, like I feel like a certain little bit of pressure with like 3 live cameras on me at one time. And like, it's just, it takes a little getting used to.
Do you change an environment. What are you the same person?
I think so.
And there you go. That's that simple. And that literally is what everything's mental, right?
Sure.
Everything in this life is all mental, and it's just how you attack it. If you if you decide to attack it head on, or if you get in your head and it just really starts fucking with you.
Right. But I mean, you just by saying that, so there's a group of people out there that are like they struggle with it. It's not the easiest task. But for you, it seems like you fell into it seamlessly. Like it seems like it's your wheelhouse, really.
It is and it isn't. So funny story. I was like anti-social media. Like, I mean, completely anti-social media. I had a MySpace back in the day, so I'm gonna tell on myself there. But after that,
bring back MySpace.
Oh,
can we
please.
do that?
Bye, Tom. Yeah, I was anti-social media, especially with Facebook, because my thinking is like, if you know me, you know me. You're going to call. You're going to know what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. I don't need to go on Facebook and tell everybody about what my accomplishments were and how I like this shirt that I bought. And like, dude, nobody fucking cares. Like, let's just be honest. Yep. It's a place where everybody feels like they can be seen and valued. But at the end of the day, everybody's trying to talk about, everybody's trying to talk about themselves.
Yeah, it's dangerous if that's where you get your...
And that's what a lot of people do. Sure. So I was like, I hated it. And it goes back to perspective, right? And obviously my perspective has changed. It's what you do with it, right? It's the tools that you have and what you do with those tools. If you try to use a drill as a hammer, it's not going to be, it's not going to be good.
It won't work out.
But my point is I actually had enlisted into the Marine Corps right out of high school, and my mom begged me to create a Facebook page to keep in contact with her.
Well, that's cool.
And a very, very long story that we ain't got time for today.
Yep.
Even after doing my final swear-in, MEP, or getting ready to go to MEPS, getting my or doing my ASVAB testing, my MOS, all that stuff. They basically tossed out, there was some shady shit that went down, and they tossed out all the applicants. So I ended up not going into the Marine Corps.
Got it.
But part of that was my wife now reached out to me literally 2 months after creating that Facebook. So
because of the Facebook?
Because of the Facebook.
Like
she reached out.
It.
I was like, hey, I was thinking about you. How have you been?
Right.
So, and we've been married 10 years. Shout out Morgan if you're on here. Love you, babe.
Hey, Morgan.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So anyways, back to social media. A lot of people kind of use it for their own personal thing, but I'm looking at business wise and I'm like, man, this is free marketing. This is why are people not doing this? And you could be the best at what you do, and if you're not seen, nobody knows who you are. Yeah. So just getting out in front of people at any way, shape, or form. And I'm not saying that I was groundbreaking and the first to do this by any means. So I don't want anybody to take it that way. But back in 2014, I was making videos on Apple's bullshit that they came factory on their iPhone and was trying to make somewhat professional videos to show people on Instagram about what we do, doing the time lapses for wrapping the cars. And that wasn't something that was super popular. Nowadays, it's a dime a dozen. You scroll through TikTok, you can see 40 billion of them, especially if that's your algorithm. But even still to this day, there is a lot of businesses that are missing out on ad revenue. They're missing out on being seen solely because they're too afraid to get in front of the camera.
Do you guys pull work from it?
Oh, dude, we've had people that have come from us, hey, I found y'all on TikTok.
Really?
Oh, yeah, 100%. And that's not why we do it. We do it to kind of just show people. I honestly started doing it to try to educate people. Anybody who has been
like
part of
customers or like just random people?
Customers was a big thing because we noticed in this industry, there's a lot of bullshit. Okay. There's a lot of stuff about the industry that I hate. And so instead of bitching and moaning about it, I was like, I can be the difference. Now, I'm not going to be, Jesus over here saving the industry by any way, not even trying to come off that way. But there are a lot of things small educational things that we can do to educate customers on saying, okay, this is the difference between a cast and a calendar. This is how you're supposed to maintenance it. This is what you should be expecting.
Yeah, because it's not just lives. I mean, I've seen some of your other videos where you're, kind of squared up and you've got your camera straight on, and it might just be you just talking about a subject like that.
Yeah, 100%. So, and honestly, that started for customers, but then it was also like the DIY guys, right? Sure. I was in California actually for WrapOn. And we stayed out there for like a week, and we were out for like 2 weeks. And actually, we had gotten back from one of the rallies out that way for Monterey Car Week.
Is this the one you were talking about earlier?
No, that's Gold Rush. Okay. But we done the oh God, Johnny's gonna kill me if I can't remember the name of his thing there. But there's
just so everybody knows, one of the big challenges for me is especially when I get somebody that's willing to talk and go back and forth. It's like we experienced this a bunch of times in the last 24 hours. It's like, oh, save it for podcast. Just wait. So there's so many things that like that's happened now between us to where it's like now I'm excited about hearing these things. So anyway,
definitely, man.
For anybody that doesn't know, like it's a real thing. It's a struggle. So
we've literally been telling everybody just stop talking for like 5 seconds, reset conversation.
Yeah. And you start talking about like trying to things that are like generic or like, things that we're probably not going to talk about on the podcast. Try to shoot for those, but.
So, long story short, we did the rally. It was from Malibu to Monterey. So we did Monterey Car Week, and that was amazing. Bucket list thing. If you can do it, 100%.
So you're a car guy at heart.
100%.
Yeah.
All the way through and through, always will be.
Got it.
Not the EVBS, but we ain't going to get into that.
Okay.
So long story short, we came back and I was like, Long Beach, when we planned our trip out, we noticed that they were going to be doing that rally. So we went ahead and signed up for it, knowing that we were going to be driving back to Long Beach for the WrapOn convention.
Okay, so when you went out there, it wasn't necessarily for like work or rapping. I mean, you were genuinely out there for the rally.
No. We went for WrapOn. We went for the rally. We looked at everything that we could do around that time period and said, let's stretch it out a little bit longer. Let's do 2 weeks in California.
I guess what I'm saying is for the rally portion of it, that's from an enthusiast standpoint.
Oh, yeah, we went early.
Okay.
Yeah, we went like a week early to make sure we kind of timed all this stuff out. So,
well, it helps paint a picture. You know what I mean? Like, because if I want to know. I'm curious because you hear people say I'm a car guy, and then they're like, and they say, okay, well, I went out to SEMA, and I had a few customers out there, and I was working, and I was like, sounds like you went on a work trip. Doesn't sound like you're really a car guy. So
I'm not a painter for the visuals. I'll let you Bob Ross it up over here.
I'm just trying to fill it out, just trying to get a better glimpse of.
I gotcha.
That's the cool part about this is I get a little glimpse in. I can get a little detail. So anyway, go ahead.
No, you're good. So. Long story short, we did the rally. We come back and we're sitting in our Airbnb, and I go on live I'll go scrolling through on TikTok, and I see Paradox the rapper on there, and I was like, okay, I've seen this dude before, and there's there's a lot of stuff in the industry that they hate on him, and it's definitely warranted.
Sure.
But I start watching this stuff, and I start listening to like all these people asking questions, just genuine questions, right? And there's like 4,000 or 5,000 people in here, and I'm like, dude, this guy has a massive audience. And he is not educated in what he's doing in a professional sense. Sure. And he's giving very, very bad information to these people. And I'm like, that is a recipe for disaster. That's how you get informed customers. That's how you get DIY guys that start doing it bad. And it makes a bad name for the industry in general.
So that's an interesting conversation. So I wrote an article at one point. It was called The Paradox Between Influence and instructor, maybe. I can't remember the title right off the top of my head, but anyway, essentially it was just drawing the making sure that people knew just because you have a big following on social media doesn't mean that the person is super educated and that they need to be given that type of advice. Now, I will say that I think that is part of his character. Okay, because I know that he trained with Justin recently. Justin is a really good, thorough instructor. Say what you want to about Justin Pate. There's people that love him, people that hate him. He is thorough, and he comes up with these cool little slick ways of getting people to remember things. He names them things, and
just a kiss of heat.
Yeah, or glass, right? He kind of coined the term glass, triangles, like all that stuff. And so he's had a massive impact on the industry. But you watch Paradox go, and he trained with Justin, and then he comes back, and he's not applying, he's not talking about it. You know what I mean? Because I try to stay on top of this stuff, because I was one of those guys watching Paradox going, oh, this ain't, man, he don't have any shoes on, and there's chickens running around. Like, I don't know, man, this don't look good, No. And again, no shade, he's doing his thing, and you go into his live, he's got 4,000 followers. I mean, that's a significant live, 100%. So there's a little bit of that I wonder. I wouldn't mind getting him on the podcast and just to hear his take on it, to hear him talk.
So funny enough, we got banned from his thing because people ask me what I think about him, and I was just being 100% honest with it. Right. I said that he's not a professional and he's teaching people bad habits, and that I really, really do think that he should try to better his craft if he's going to do that.
When you think of a professional, what does a professional rapper or installer look like to you?
It's all relative. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because I started from the backyard. Heck, I was pulling a Paradox at one point in time. I have videos on my Instagram from 2013 rapping in my backyard in flip flops. So, I mean,
Is that still on the internet?
it is still on the internet.
Josh, can you pull that up? We're trying to get some. No, I'm just kidding.
No, please
On it.
Please do. I will send you the link.
All right, that's cool.
So, I mean, I started in my backyard the same way. And so there's nothing wrong with that. I will never knock anybody for starting in the backyard, but you can't stay there. You have to grow. And it is your duty. If you have that much of a following, it's your duty to be able to teach people correctly.
Sure.
And it's a lot.
So you're saying if they fall into, if you start passing out that information, there's a certain responsibility that comes with that to make sure that you're giving out good information.
100%.
So if the play is that you're being this guy that is like unorthodox and doing things differently, that's cool. Be the character. Probably shouldn't be leading people down a path that's not with good information, right?
Correct.
I got you. Okay.
Correct. And I'm even the same way. I'm definitely unorthodox to a lot of other people, specifically in other businesses too, right? But I also try to be educated on my shit.
Yeah.
If I'm going to talk about something, I'm going to know what I'm talking about, or I'm just going to keep my mouth shut.
I mean, I've watched your lives before. I don't, and not saying that you couldn't, but generally I don't see you giving a lot of business advice. Generally, you keep it too tight to, hey, look, if I'm wrapping something or if this type material or something, it's generally around what you know. And not saying you don't know business. I'm just saying like it's.
Oh no, I don't know business.
Okay.
I'm learning.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like I think it's important for people to know that you're living what you're saying, right? You're not
smoking what I'm selling.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? You're making sure that people know, hey, listen, I'm a hell of a rapper. I'll show you how to install. I'll tell you little tips and tricks there. But also, hey, look, I'm not cramming this business stuff down your throat either, right? And so
Correct.
I think you gotta have that information to make sure that you're.
And see, that's my thing too. With the business side of things, I'm still learning it, right?
Right.
I created a job for myself in the beginning, and this is not to talk negatively about anybody who has started a job for themselves to become self-employed. But you can't call yourself an entrepreneur.
Right.
You cannot call yourself like you started a business because you just created a job.
Right.
Right. And that's what I did. I fell into that trap, that pitfall of I know how to do something. I'll do it. I'll start a business.
Sure.
Not a business. Created a job for myself. It was a nice job for myself. I enjoyed it. But now I built a box and I'm trying to get out of that box.
Sure.
I'm trying to learn more of the business stuff because
at the end of the day, now you're the boss. Now so you turn into the problem. So
Correct.
you got nobody to turn around and say, who put that on the schedule? Oh shit, that was me.
at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's all accountability, right? So if I do something and the business fails, it's my fault.
Sure.
But if I do something and it's successful, it's still my fault.
Right.
It's all based on that.
And
so if I hire the wrong people, it's my fault.
Right.
If I don't train my guys right, it's my fault.
Sure.
It's all 100% accountability.
I feel that.
But it's getting to that point of realization, like, hey, I created a job and I created a nice little box, but now I got to figure out my way out of this box and really, really start figuring out process and structure. So I'm still learning the business side. I'm still relatively new. Like we've been successful in the sense of where we've gotten now, but what I did to get us here will not get us to the next level.
Sure.
And I know that, and I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses. So I think it's very, very important to do some reflection and look inward and say,
self-evaluation, make sure you know who you are.
I am a scrub at this. I fucking suck,
I hear you.
And then lean on people and not be afraid to reach out to people like yourself, or there's a ton of people that I know. John Dewar is a huge fan of mine, or a huge fan of mine. I'm a huge fan of his.
Yeah, he's probably a fan of yours too.
I doubt it.
I don't know, man. I've seen the lives; they're pretty good.
I could just reach out to anybody and just ask them a question and say, just come up and say, hey, man, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Mm-hmm. Is this something that you could help me out with? Do you know somebody who could help me out with?
I know it's funny that you say that because that takes a level of confidence as well. You gotta, it's not, that sounds real easy, but there's a lot of people out there that are insecure and it's almost, they're going to feel vulnerable putting themselves out there like that. They're going to somebody that they already put up on a pedestal. You know what I mean? And in their head, they're thinking, man, this guy, he's going to judge me. He's going to look at me, blah, 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 blah. So it takes a certain level of confidence that.
It does. But when you realize that people who are already at this level, they're not going to knock on people down here. They want to see those people down here come to their level.
Sure.
And so when you realize that the genuine people want to see you succeed, it's not even a difficult question to ask and say, I don't know what I'm doing, because you know that they're going to come elevate you, right? And then you're going to do the same to someone else. And you can give away so much stuff for free, and it just allows you to empty your plate out so then you can take on some new shit, right? So like, I'm going to give out what I know. and I know how to do color change extremely well. And I'm going to teach these people, and I'm going to give this away for free on TikTok. And I don't know shit about business, but guess what? Now I've emptied out my plate and I've given, and now someone else is seeing you reached out on TikTok because you found me on there.
Yep.
Right. And so I'm learning stuff from you, and I'm learning stuff from Conrad over at Exotic Vehicle Wraps and John Doover. And so it's allowed these basically these relationships to come in and help me out with what I'm struggling with, what my shortcomings are. And so I think the more that you give away, the more humble you are, and the more that you can just be okay with not knowing and asking for that help, it's just going to elevate you that much more.
You mentioned a second ago, so the plan was go to the military.
Yeah.
And then somehow you ended up in your backyard sticking decals. There was a little bit of BMW manufacturing in there.
Yeah, that was, I never in a million years thought I'd be putting stickers on a car. I could tell you that right.
Well, I'm curious how you got to that point.
So, obviously, probably is a good time for an introduction now.
Yeah.
I definitely think we're past, we're definitely past our 15-minute mark.
Lambert, we hit that 15 minutes?
We're
well over it.
Good. Yeah, we're in like 3 times now.
I think so. All right.
But, so my name is Matt Zihlavsky, and I'm the owner of Precision Wraps and I can't even say the name, Precision Wraps and Graphics. Been doing this since really 2014. Yeah, I'd say 2014. Okay. Started a full-time job, quit my job in 16, but been in cars my entire life, loved them. Obviously I got sucked in the Fast and Furious phase. Who didn't? Yep. And was like, I'm going to build a shop. I'm going to own a shop, and I'm going to do performance. And that was my thing, right? Performance, paint jobs, wide body. I wanted to build actually cars. Gotcha. And did that for a little bit. And I realized really, really quickly, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Okay. There was there was 2 different sides, right? You have the actual paint and body side, the custom fabrication, and then you have the mechanical side, which is a whole nother thing as well. Sure. And
you said you were at a body shop. Like you did the body shop thing for a little bit.
I did.
You had a little bit of that experience.
Yeah, this was kind of before that. I did like the vocational school before then.
Got it.
That kind of was the segue into doing it on the side. And then while I was doing that on the side, I was working for BMW manufacturing for about 4 years.
Gotcha.
And still, dabbling around, building engines, doing wide body out of metal flare, and, just collision work, really.
Personal stuff or other people's stuff?
For other people. And doing some personal stuff as well. But then I ended up leaving BMW because that was like, it just wasn't for me. Gotcha. Got a job actually at a body shop, Breakaway Honda. Worked for there, I think it was roughly about 2 years. Mm-hmm. And as I was there, I was there for, I think it was about 2 years, and I'd started playing around with some of the vehicle wrap stuff. There was a customer of mine that came to me, and he said, "Hey, I went to the show in like Florida, Texas, or whatever it was, right?" And he was like, "They got this crazy new thing that's called a wrap," and I'm like, "I don't know what that is." Like, is this a food, or is this like, no, it's like a paint job, but it's a sticker. And I was like, that sounds like bullshit. Like, it's Die Hard paint. Sure. And so he said, "Yo, if I try something, if I buy it, would you be down to try it?" I said, "Yeah, I'll give it a shot. I know how to disassemble cars. I'd already been doing all this." Sure. I said, "We'll give it a shot." So first thing I did was the 1080 matte charcoal gray, my backyard. Took me
stable, man.
Man, dude, that was when 3M was at its peak. That's a whole nother story.
I got it. Yep.
But
I just appreciate you giving them any credit whatsoever.
Oh, no. That 3M peak 2015. I stand by that. Actually, I stand by that. So anyways, it took me like a month to do in my backyard. Gotcha. It took fucking forever, and I was trash. But the job actually turned out really good for the time. Sure. And I was like, dude, this is nice. Like, I'm used to painting cars. I'm used to having to prep and sand and tape and make a mess with overspray because I didn't have a booth or anything set up, right? I'm wetting the floors. I'm doing it old school. And I'm like, dude, there is a market for this. Right. And I was like, I have no idea how to market that.
I got to figure it out. There's a process. I'm going to have to figure out the process.
I wasn't even that far yet. No, I wasn't even that far yet. I was just like, dude, this is really cool. So obviously he goes to car shows and everybody, starts eating that stuff up. And I was like, oh, this is actually really cool. So I got another job after that. And it was like probably like another 8-9 months later. And I'm starting to see that there's more and more and more people asking for it. And I went to my wife and I was like, there's a market for this. And I don't know how to do anything, but I will figure it out. And so she was super supportive. She was like, I trust you. So do what you got to do. That's so cool. I quit my job in 2016 in June. and just pursued that 100% full time. Was working in the backyard, was doing a little bit of everything. I was actually, obviously, to try to help continue to pay the bills and to grow the business, the business.
Sure.
And I was doing anything and everything. You know, I wasn't on the street corner or anything, but anything and everything besides that.
Right.
But yeah, I was loading up a welder. I got a couple welding jobs because I used to do the custom fab stuff. So I used to get welding jobs up in, actually funny enough, here in North Carolina when all these rich people would plow through their gates when it iced over. I would just go up there and weld the gates and the hinges and stuff back on. And yeah, just anything and everything I could. I was still doing custom fab. I was still doing auto body and wraps all kind of at the same time.
Well, in the beginning, that's what it's all about, right? Like whatever it takes to keep this thing alive is what we got to do.
Oh, and I was too, man. Like I said, like besides the street corner.
Sure.
That's where I draw the line. But yeah, no, I was doing that until I slowly started just transitioning that out. And then I was just doing wraps, you know. And at the time, I didn't know that many other people that were doing the color change stuff. So it was very, very niche inside of a niche. You know, you got the color change and then you have the commercial, which has been around forever.
Sure.
So it was like even a sub layer of that. But yeah.
But that was on your radar at the time? Like even then you were thinking like, this isn't just, you know, there's plenty of room here for growth. Like we can go crazy with this.
Oh, dude, I didn't know what I was doing.
Really?
I didn't have a fucking clue.
Right.
I was just like, I like cars. I know I'm good at taking them apart. I'm good at working on cars, and I'm getting better at this wrap thing. So I can definitely, I can make a job. I can make a business out of this. Like we can figure it out, right?
Sure.
And so we have slowly but surely. And I was very secluded to myself. You know, we still did marketing in the sense of like videos and photos for Instagram to kind of showcase what we do. I've never been scared to do that. But I also had a little bit of like what you touched on earlier about not wanting to talk to people and them looking at you of like, well, maybe they're going to know I don't know what I'm doing and they're going to look. It was a mindset shift for me, right? It took that me figuring out that honestly, the people who are going to hate on you are not ever going to go anywhere in the first place.
Right.
And that the people who genuinely want to see you succeed will give you the tools to do so.
Well, it's kind of twofold, right? So it's neat because there is a little, like if you have any type of insecurities, it will amplify it.
100%. Everybody does. Some way,
Everybody
shape, or
does,
form.
right? So it's like there's an opportunity there for that. But I think too, it's interesting when you started talking about it as soon as we sat down. And that's why I like doing it here, man. There's something about this room that for me that just like, I don't know. I don't know if it's just if it cultivates it or if it just because it's kind of intimate. You know what I mean? Where it's just me and you, and I can really pay attention and hear. There's no outside. But I was listening to you talk about it earlier about like with customers. Customer comes in, you know, tire kickers are the tough. I mean, they can be the toughest. And listening to you talk about it, you're like, well, yeah, but I mean, you know, you're a pretty straightforward guy. So it's, you know, you're trying to get to the point. And I think that there's kind of a degree of that. I'm curious that if you're pulling customers from your TikTok lives, then there's a lot of information, or even if they're just viewing any of your content, there's a lot of information they've already got up front before they ever walk through that door. So it's going to trim back some of that conversation to where you don't have to spend all that. I mean, you could almost direct them towards it.
100%.
You know, if they call and they're like, hey man, what is it? And you'd be like, hey man, just go to my Instagram and watch a few videos. You're going to get all the information that you need. It's all right there.
We have people literally walked in and they're like, they've done all the research. She's like, hey, I've watched what you've done. You've talked about this. I want KPMF, iced pink titanium. Like they know the color, the brand, the everything. They've done the research. Yeah. And I've done nothing but educate and do my job, which I do on a day-to-day basis. Right. I've just taken a little bit of time. And like I said earlier, if you pour into people, you're going to get back 3, 4, 5 times what you pour in. Sure. You give it away for free, it will come back some way, shape, or form. A lot of people just like to, again, just hold on and be in their own bubble. Yeah. And if you're not growing, you're dying, man.
Sure. And you're a talker too. So I can only imagine. Well,
no, I'm not a talker. I would never.
I've seen your lives before, so I know it's nothing for you to talk while you're working. You know what I'm saying? So it fits perfect with you. And I think that's important. People need to find their medium, right? 100%. I get it all the time. Like people ask about the podcast. They're like, hey man, why'd you do the podcast? Well, you even ask, why do you do the podcast? Yeah. And it's like, this is my medium. This works well for me. This fits me well. You know, doing TikTok dances is tough. You know what I mean? There's girls out there.
You're not good looking enough.
I'm not. And, and I'm not coordinated enough. You know, I fumble around. It's just not my space. But even on Instagram, there's times like I'm posting and it's just like, it doesn't feel like I almost start, this is how I get. I'll start building posts and I'll try to stack them up to where when I don't feel creative, I can still share something, right? And that to me almost feels fake or not genuine to where it's like, I don't even enjoy posting. So I end up with like 20 drafts. And then when I'm not, the theory is when I'm not feeling creative, I can access that draft and post it. But at that point it's like, I'm not that guy.
Paralysis analysis.
Yeah.
Don't even think about it. Just post it, man.
Well, and so for this allows me to do that because now I'm just being me. I genuinely, like, now that we're in here and we're rocking and rolling, these cameras mean absolutely nothing to me. The lives mean nothing to me at this point. It's 100% about you, and I can focus in on it. And I'm genuinely curious, and I have no idea where we're going, but it's kind of like we're along on this ride together, and that suits me. That's my soul. That's me as a human being. Like it's not the best way to live your life, right? So I kind of have to like hold it back a lot. You know what I mean? Like, because in business, you can't just live off the cuff. You can't just, with my wife, I can't just randomly say, hey, look, we're leaving tonight and going to Vegas. We got 2 kids, we got responsibility. So like I spend all this time like getting tight to be able to live the life that I live. So it's like to have a medium where I can actually just
express yourself,
just express myself and just be 100%. Who I am and it be okay. Yeah. We can shut the door and I can sit down and, I can hear you clear. I can see you clear. You know what I mean? It's fun to me. It's my medium, I guess. If that's what
I get it 100%. I think everybody should try to find their medium.
Sure. When the lives fit you well.
Oh yeah, I think so too. Which is funny enough because I was like anti-social media.
I know, so that's funny. I was not expecting
full
that.
Circle. I don't even say full circle. I'm half circle.
Yeah,
I'm 180 on the other side.
Yeah.
But it really is. It really is wild. But I think a lot, like going back to what you said earlier. I think if people just get out of their own head and just do what you need to do what you want to do. I feel like a lot of people hold themselves back. I'm a huge supporter of somebody just like not even having a plan. Just go for it.
So why TikTok? Why'd you go TikTok?
Dude, honestly, I don't even know.
Really?
I don't
just
even
randomly
know.
Downloaded it?
No, it wasn't even that. It was at the time we had a photographer and he had downloaded it, right?
Okay.
And that was a whole nother story. We went through so many photographers and videographers to try to like get with what the vision that we were going for. Sure. Also, I'm gonna take this time to huge shout out Vision to Inspire.
Okay.
Wayne Johnson and his team are amazing with what they do. If you have time, pull up some of the stuff that he has shot for us, and it is like
what was the name of it?
Vision to Inspire.
Vision to Inspire. Lambert?
It is a fucking Netflix original. So it's absolutely phenomenal. But the photographer that we had at the time, he had downloaded it, and this was back when there was like almost no structure. It was still the 12-year-olds dancing on there.
Sure.
Nobody
Wild West.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't really care for any of this stuff, right? So he gets it, and he starts walking around, and he starts filming stuff in our shop. And, they had little sound bites that you could grab, and he uses the Office sound bite, and he like put clips together to make it look like the intro of the Office, but for our shop.
Yep.
And I was like, this is really creative. Like, this is actually really cool. And I was like, there's something to this. So I started to play around with it myself and started making some videos. And I think one of the first videos I actually made was how to properly remove Plasti Dip if you're interested in it. And I proceeded to go over to the trash can and teach people how to roll it off. And then I just threw the whole part away. So that's how you remove it.
Got it. Got it. Oh,
and it did pretty decent.
So when you, I don't know if this was your experience with it, but TikTok's original editing portion was fire.
Oh,
like
100%.
It was the best. Like I'd never felt more at home working with an editing software ever. Like
it was user friendly.
It was the most user friendly. Like it was so simple, and it seemed like it was just like, I don't know.
It was idiot proof. That's the best way to put it. It was idiot proof. Like for somebody who's never edited, you could hop on that. You could get your grandma on her jitterbug to hop on that thing and produce a fucking,
Yeah, hit the T9 and just tear it up.
That's what I'm saying,
posting
man.
videos.
Like you have a Quentin Tarantino from grandma in no time.
But that was like that. It made me feel good. Like it was like, dude, I'm doing like legit video. And they, looking back, not very good in the grand scheme of things, but
it got the point across.
Yeah, and in the vision that was in my head, I felt like I could get to it pretty quickly. Like I could take it from idea to real life pretty quickly, and it's like you said, sometimes when you're working, it's like the paralysis thing is a real thing. Like you'll put so much, you'll put so much work into it, and you overthink, and you're finally just like, whatever, I'm done, I'm over this. I want to.
Like your mindset and time are the two big things that stifle innovation. Sure. It goes back to no different than you guys with the WrapOn stuff and y'all making your tools, right? If you had the technology, 10 years ago, and it was so user friendly that you could make a tool and find out real quick that it didn't work, and you could make another one in the next couple of days. How much faster you would be and how much further you'd be along, all this other different things. And so for them to do that, it's time, right? If you have to sit there and wait on the technology to come out, or how you feel about it.
I told you about Dustin earlier, the guy that invented the Rolly Pro.
Yeah.
We talked about him a little bit. So the first time me and him we got really cool, and he shows me this shelf in the back of his office, and it's like covered in new tools, like kind of like what we did out there, and dumped out the bag, and you're like, oh, what's this? It's kind of the same experience, but you know, even now, like looking back, like he was so ahead of his time. It's unreal, but he had all these tools laid out, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, get these things to market. And he was like, you have no idea the process that it takes to go through. He's like, it is the most miserable process. It's so hard. And like, you put in all this time, all this effort. And even though for us as an individual installer, you know, cause I still wrap. So it's like, I may think it's great, but then
someone else may not.
It may not work for you. Your techniques, it might not fit into your, you know, however your process, right? And so it's like you spend all this time and energy and effort and money to get it available to everybody. You're making a product that's, you know, you want it to be sexy, you want it to be efficient, you want it to work, and you want it to be at a price point that people can afford it. And like, there's all this effort that goes into it, and then it hits the market and it flops.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's buying it. It's like, oh shit. You know,
I think,
it's like,
honestly, fast and loose is some of the best thing that you can do with some of that.
Sure.
Because the faster that you get it out to people, the faster that they'll let you know whether they like it or whether there's a market for it.
The process is, like, I'm telling you though, man, like if coming up with an idea and then trying to get it through that process to get it available. Now, like we're not even anywhere as close as I'd like to be, but like we're in a place now to where like if we have an idea, at least I know that I can shoot that over to Josh and he can get us up a mock drawing, and then we can print it and we can touch it and feel it and talk about it. You know, 10 years ago, 5 years ago,
wasn't that easy.
No, it's still not that easy for your average person, you know, because if it were just me and I had to go in and model that stuff myself and then, or come up with the idea, draw it, model it, mess with it, play with it, put it back into the modeling software, roll it around, like, dude, it's challenging. It is challenging is probably a huge
understatement of the year.
Yeah. Because again, I'm an installer. We're not those people. I mean, we are now.
No, you are those people.
We are now, but it's like it took a lot to get there, and so it's like I think about like all the great ideas. Me and TJ talked about this a little bit on the last podcast, where it was like, there's a chance, and you're from Greenville's not that small. It's a pretty good sized town, right?
I can't look it up. I don't have my phone.
Oh, okay. Well, either way, like it's probably a good sized.
It's pretty
town.
decently sized.
Yeah. But there could be an installer 2 towns over that's like the best in the world, and we'll never know about him. We'll never hear. Like he's just in his little space over there. That's in like, well, you know, he just never heard of, and he'll get overlooked. You know. And it's super unfortunate. And I think about that with like tool ideas. Like there's probably people out there that have like these great ideas. We're never going to hear about them. We'll never see them. They'll never exist because there's no process to help, you know.
It goes back to what I was talking about earlier about giving stuff away for free, right?
Sure.
And no different than whatever we talked about upstairs.
Yeah.
I've got stuff that I would love that I have actually already made that I use on a day-to-day basis. And that's it. I don't give it to anybody else. I don't market it to anybody else because I know what it takes, and I know I don't have what it takes because I don't have the time.
Well, you'd probably surprise yourself.
No, I don't have time.
Well, time maybe not.
Unless you
I think you've got what it takes.
No. I mean in the time sense. That's what I say. Like I know I could do it, but I'm not going to pursue that because I know what my time is going towards now. So even something like that, you taking the time to introduce yourself and to bring me into your home and show me like, hey, this is my process. This is what we went through. This is what we have now. Like, I'm going to give you some of this stuff because I'm not going to do anything with it, and I want to see you succeed with it too. So, and it goes the same thing with everything else. Sure. Like, you give away something that you still value, that you know is valuable, but you give it away for free. Someone else will see that and bring something to the table that you needed. You just didn't know that you needed it.
Yeah. I've seen that. I've seen a lot of people. Do you follow Gary Vee?
Oh yeah,
Gary Vee talks about it a lot.
I don't follow him, but I mean, he comes up on my thing, and I'll listen to him. Yeah,
he's got some good stuff, man.
100%.
And he'll do like these prediction things where he talks about stuff like that, and he'll just like spout out a $1 million idea, and it's like, whoa, like where did that come from? And he's like, I hope somebody picks it up and runs with it. We need it.
100%.
He's like, I'm not the guy, but somebody is. Somebody out there
Dude, the hardest thing I've had to learn is to tell myself and everybody else no.
Yeah, pump the brakes.
No, no, no. Like, you can ask my wife. That's like my favorite word. No.
How long you been doing that?
No.
No.
I've been doing it for a while.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, I've been doing it for a long, long time.
That's good.
That's something that my dad instilled into me. He's like, you got to pick something and you got to stick with it. And
Sure.
Not to even jump off on like topic, but I see a lot of today's generation, a lot of people bitch and moan about, the workforce out there is terrible and you can't get these young, what are they now? Gen Zs. They can't get them to come in here and do that. And that's bullshit. We got two Gen Z guys that work for us. They're fucking crushing it.
I was going to say, you talk pretty good about them.
Yeah, and they're fucking crushing it. And the thing is that you have to give them direction and guidance, and you can't just bitch and moan about it. I was going to go somewhere with this, and I completely got off on topic. I don't even know where I was going to go.
I don't know either, but shout out to the two guys for sure.
Yeah, Zach and Noah.
Yeah, it's always good to hear somebody talk like that. You know what I mean? Like to hype up their guys, especially when they're not standing there. You know what I mean? It's one thing to hype up your guy when he can hear you, but so hopefully those guys are, if they're not listening, they'll watch and they can. I mean, it was cool. It was cool. It's nice to see.
I was gonna go somewhere with that, and I completely just squirreled and started looking off. Don't know what I was gonna say, but god dang.
No, we were talking about your dad. Instilling that in you,
pick
the next generation.
Yeah, to pick something and stick with it and get good at it and just continue to just double down on what you do. And so I've instilled that even in my guys that work there now. I'm like, look, I need you to test this out, test the waters. If there's something that you really think that you're going to be good at, that you enjoy doing, double down, stick to it. And I'm not just saying that because I want you to come here and stay and work for me, because I do want those things. Yeah. But I also want you to be successful, because if you hop from point to point to point to point to point, you will never be good at anything. You'll be just okay at best. Yep. And mediocrity gets you what? Nothing.
You'll get whatever the ceiling, at best, you're going to hit the ceiling at that mediocrity, and that just becomes your life, and it's going to circle. I mean, it's just going to be every part of your life. You know what I mean? And it's hard to feel motivated about just being mediocre.
I don't want to, and I don't want my guys to. Sure. I was at SEMA, and I saw Kevin Kempf from PG NOLA.
PG NOLA, yep.
And he had a shirt on the back, and he said, you can't do next level shit with like basic people or something like that. I was like, dude, that fucking shirt is awesome.
Yeah. Shout out Kevin. Kevin's good shit.
Oh yeah, he's the man.
Yep.
But I saw that.
Well, I don't know about the man, but he's he plays a close second for sure. I'm just kidding.
But he's a really, really good dude, man.
He is. I like him.
I saw that and I was like, dude, I love that. And I try to instill that in my guys too. It's like, don't win. Fucking dominate. Like, if you're going to do something, be the best at what you do, or at least try to be the best. Obviously there's always going to be a bigger fish. There's always going to be somebody who's better than you, but do the best that you can do. You be happy, you be confident. You need to develop those skills, right? So it's the competence, confident loop, right? The more that you do something, the more confident you get. The more confident you get, the more confidence you get. And it's just an endless cycle, right?
I like that.
So the more that you continue to keep doing it, you don't even have to think about it, right?
Sure.
People ask, oh, well, how do you know what to talk to somebody? How to answer these questions? I don't even have to think.
Right.
I've been doing it for 10 years now.
Yep.
So for me, it's just off the hip. Read people. At the end of the day, business is people. You're selling to people. They're buying your product.
Right.
So know people and you can start a business. And then you either sell a product or you sell a service.
Yep.
And one's a lot easier to scale. I fucked up.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it seems like I think that's a good segue into so for you, it's always been color change, right?
It's always been color change.
Right. You're a color change guy at heart. That's where you cut your teeth. You come from a paint background, so it makes sense, right?
Yep.
But you're looking to scale, looking to grow, so your eyes are, opening up a little bit to some other opportunities. What's that look like for you?
We're gonna see. We're gonna see what the future holds on that. We purchased our first printer in 21.
Nice. What'd you go with?
We went with the HP 700.
Gotcha.
I don't have very many good things to say about that.
I mean, you can say whatever you want to. Hey, it's an ongoing kind of joke here. This is your show. You say whatever you want to.
Yeah.
It ain't going to hurt my feelings.
It's just how they handled it, man. Honestly, I don't even know if it was like a fluke thing. From people that I've talked to, they're like, they're the best fucking printer they've ever owned, or it's the biggest fucking piece of shit you've ever owned. Gotcha. And ours just happens to be a big fucking piece of shit.
Got it.
And we've probably
their service department and everything.
Dog shit. Everybody's HP has the best. I'm like, if this is the best, you should fucking go out of business because it's horrible.
That bad.
Absolutely horrible. They'll come out. We've replaced almost everything in that thing and still had nothing but issues with banding. And then they tried to say, this is me going on a rant just because I've spent so much fucking money with them.
Good.
Then they created a name for the disease, if you will, right? It was dark color limitations. Oh, well, now we can't print dark colors, certain dark colors. Can't do dark blue, can't do dark green, can't do dark red, black without having banding.
Can't.
Won't do it. But it says crazy because we've been printing with this thing for a year and a half and not had a single issue. And we can show you the files that we printed of the jobs. And now all of a sudden there's banding. So
Is it like an ongoing issue?
Oh,
Like
yeah,
you
it's
see
still
other
happening.
people,
Still
like
happening.
other people are running into that same issue. You think it's like parts or something? Because if at one point you were getting good results, now you're not getting, something shifted.
There's no telling.
Really?
We've gone back to backdated. We've backdated the software system. We've done literally everything we can. We have probably spent close to what that printer costs new.
Oh, wow. That sucks.
Yeah,
That's
it's
rough.
pretty dog shit. That's why I said I'm not too happy with HP.
Well, I'm not trying to put them on blast, but I mean, I think that a lot of times, so like if I'm teaching a class, if you lay solvent and you lay latex out on the table and you say, okay, look, here's your two options. And as a trainer, I'm not trying to push them either way. I don't care. Whichever one works best for you. When you set them the two out there, latex generally looks a little sexier on the table. You know what I mean? Like it just, there's a lot of, when you start looking at the pros and cons, it's hard to not, I always get one student that'll say, it sounds like it's a no-brainer. We just need to get a latex. And I'm like, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like, these are the, the differences, the pros and cons list.
Yeah.
And so like I said, for me, I don't care, but I think it's important because a lot of people, when they hear that spiel, they think, oh, I need to go get a latex. And I mean, here you are saying that you had some issues. So.
And honestly, the 365 is what we were going to end up going with, which is like the workhorse. They've been around forever. Yeah. And I got kind of bullshitted. This is also like COVID, right? So keep that in mind. This is, everybody's losing their shit. The world's going to end and
you're
everybody's
like, I'm going
losing
to
their
invest
mind.
in my company.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, dude, looking back, I promise, well, obviously if you've lost some people, RIP, sorry, but you will look back and say, those were some of the best times you ever had. You didn't have to go to work. You spent way more time with your family. You had fucking checks given to you to your fucking house. Like you got free money. You can't tell me that some of those times weren't the best, right? No traffic on the road.
I worked the whole time.
Oh,
That was the best. That was the best part.
Dude, it was amazing. We're having cookouts every fucking day.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother side of the thing. So anyways, COVID's happening. Everybody's losing their shit. I'm like, yeah, we're definitely going to take this opportunity to
It was a
invest.
weird time for sure. I just want to say that. It was a weird time. Wherever you fell,
Yeah.
it was if you...
For me, I was like, yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
There was never a time you were like, damn, maybe this is a little shaky. Maybe
No.
you
Not
didn't see
even a
like
little
a kink in the system?
Dude, don't even get me started on our system and how broken it is.
So you felt like that anyway.
Oh, dude, yeah. It's like, this thing is you can only control this. This is your circle. This is what you can control. Everything outside of that, you can't do shit about. So don't even fucking worry about it. If the world fucking crumbles, the world's going to crumble no matter whether you like it or not. Whether you have a job or a wife or a fucking kid, it doesn't matter. Nothing revolves around you, so it's going to happen. So why worry? All the anxiety can just, bye.
Float away.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Again, mindset.
No, I like it. I'm good with that.
So we go to invest. We look, and the 365s are like the tits, right? Those are what you go. Those are the workhorses. They don't quit. I made multiple calls to multiple shops, people that I know personally. We've got them. We love them. We had no issues out of them. That's what I'm going for. We go to make the call through Grimco. They said, oh, we're actually going to be discontinuing those. I said, are you kidding me? He's like, yeah, we're going to be discontinuing those in like a year. You don't want to get one of those. You want to probably go to the upgrade, which is a 700. So I got salesmen,
Did they discontinue them? I don't know if they...
Hell no.
No?
Yeah, I know. Dude, he
Damn.
bullshitted his way through there. I bought that shit. I got suckered right in.
line,
I said,
sinker.
I ate it up.
Damn, I hate to hear that.
It was great. The first year and a half, it was great. The machine was great. The color was great. Everything about it was amazing. The only thing I didn't like was it has a lot of wasted material for the first initial feed.
Okay. Like to the take-up reel?
Yeah, it feeds from the bottom side and it goes up and over. And so it actually ends up using close to...
Sorry, I got something going on here. I don't get on live much, so I don't...
you know what? Ours might do the same thing too. It
Where
might
you have to I think Lambert, yours is doing the same.
Yeah.
You got to let it know you're still alive.
Yep, it may have already happened. But...
Well, here, we'll take a quick second while he's doing that. Let me just say, if anybody is on live and they're watching it and they're listening, I think we're going to do a Q&A at the end. So I think that'll be pretty exciting. That'll give us an opportunity for you guys. If you got any questions, you want to hear anything, don't hesitate to ask. It's going to be tough for us to keep an eye on the lives as we're going, but maybe every once in a while it'll be something like this where we can stop and just just take a look at it and see if we can answer any questions. So
this one's still live on ours.
hope you guys are enjoying it. Hope you guys are having fun. Thanks for watching. want to see too, Lambert, if you get a minute, if we could share a couple of those lives somewhere, that would be cool.
That's wild. I didn't know that it did that on our other phone, which that's something that they just must recently have done because of the old shop phone. I just got an old 11 and
it doesn't do that.
I don't do that, dude. I can walk away from the thing for hours and it'd still be up live. So it's definitely an updated
I don't
app.
know why I checked it. I just happened to catch my attention.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of shit, but you know.
No, it's all right. I think we're still up and going, so. Yeah.
Back now. All right, cool.
All right, we'll keep rocking and rolling then. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're good. Good catch.
Yeah, there we we go. So about
back
a
to
year,
the printer.
year and a half, rocking and rolling. Everything's going
Everything
good.
is amazing.
You didn't like the take up. There was a little bit of that was like,
It wastes like 3 feet in the front and 3 feet in the back. So
I think that's pretty common though.
Yeah. I don't even know if it's quite that much, honestly.
Really?
Typically, I mean, it's about a foot.
Oh, okay.
But ours is 6 feet every print. So if you break it apart and you do one run, I mean, you kind of weigh 6 feet. So we kind of have to account for that.
No matter what.
No matter what. What'll happen is it will get caught up in print head crash every time.
If you
don't let it run out.
Really?
Yep. It basically has to run. The cures, on your Epsons, you have basically like hot plates that it runs over. We don't have that. We got heaters and
from the
they
top
blow
side,
like a hair dryer.
Yeah, I've seen them.
And so what happens is you get, even with the vacuum adjusted, you get a lot of this and then you'll get print head crashes.
Oh, it'll hit it.
So what happens is
so it's like a weight thing. You got to have that extra weight.
Extra weight that holds
okay.
down. But what we did is we just basically got black magnets that we magnet to itself and let that kind of. So we're not wasting it as much, but it's still a pain in the ass, right?
Sure.
But outside of that, great printer, everything was working well, and then we started having issues. Yeah.
When did you what was the first indication of issues? Was it banding?
Oh yeah, 100%. And we thought, Morgan has been doing print stuff forever. Like she's graphic communication, graphic design. She was running a print department at her old job before she quit and came work full time.
You said she went to Clemson too.
She did. She did.
I got a daughter that's considering Clemson, so I might have to reach out to her and get a feel for if she
depends on what she's going for. And Emily also, I was telling you about, that does the 3D printing stuff. Built the Iron Man suit.
She went to Clemson too.
I think she just graduated actually.
Get out. Also, she's younger.
She's very young. Yeah.
And she's crushing it.
Oh, 100%.
Shout out Emily. I think me and Josh both have seen her videos and you talking about her. I think that's cool.
I think it's Emily, the creator. I can't remember 100%, but if you've ever been on TikTok and seen the lady who built a full-on 3D printed Iron Man suit that lights up and works.
That's the chick.
That's her.
That's cool.
But yeah. So
sorry.
No, you're fine. So Morgan went there. She knows what she's doing. She's cleaned Rollins and Epsons and all that stuff. And so we're having nothing but issues, and we can't figure it out. And HP sends out their people, and it's just an absolute nightmare, right? So this is a good segue into Kevin over at Autofilm Solutions.
Yep.
I don't know if you know Kevin at all.
Yep.
Yeah, awesome.
I don't know him great. Kevin always, I run into him at the shows. I see him around, and Kevin's one of those guys that he's so cool, it kind of intimidates me. I kind of feel like a goober
he's
talking to
laid
him.
back,
He is he's
hilarious.
he's like the Fonz. You know what I mean? I could just imagine him parked up somewhere smoking a stove and just be like, "Yeah, man, yeah." He's just cool. I don't know.
Now, Kevin's the man.
I can nerd out. You know what I mean? I'll be talking about some nerdy stuff, and it just I don't know. I don't want to waste his time. Anyway, go ahead.
That's all good, man. He's down to earth, and you can have conversations with him about just about anything. And he's like me; he'll shoot you straight. He doesn't he don't bullshit about it, and really, really good dude.
Well, I think he's on the East Coast a couple times a year.
Yeah, he definitely is.
So I might have to hit him up, get him out here. I hadn't thought about him. That'd be a good one.
I only met him like a couple times, and just kind of chatted with him and whatnot.
Does he got an HP as well?
Yeah, he had a couple of them actually.
Okay, so that was how that linked. I gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
So I called him, and I was just hoping that he was going to be able to, be my saving grace.
Sure.
Just Jesus in a bottle. Make it happen, make it problems.
Because their
away.
business is they're crushing it.
Dude, yeah, they've got like 3 or 4 of those printers, and they're just nonstop run. So I'm like, hopefully he'll get back to me, right? So, dude, I think like 2 months passed by, and I hadn't heard anything, right? At this point, we've already fixed the problem, finally. I don't even remember what the first problem was. We've had so many of them, right? So he calls me back, and he's like, "Hey, bro, I know you'd called." I said, "Dude, that was fucking 2 months ago." Sorry, I need to move this a little bit.
No, go ahead.
So I was like, "Dude, that was like fucking 2 months ago. Like, we already got it figured out now."
Okay.
But he was like, "Yeah, bro, sorry, we got a lot of stuff going on, yada, yada." I'm like, "That's all good." He's like, "What are you doing Friday?" I was like, "This week?" This is like Monday or Tuesday. I think it's like Tuesday. I said, I'm fucking working. What are you doing Friday? He said, well, we're doing, we sponsor the Pikes Peak Hill Climb. And I'm like, okay. He's like, you want to come out? I was like, this Friday? He said, well, make it Thursday. He said, I'll fly you and your wife out if you want to come out here. And I'm like,
Get
hell
out
yeah.
of here, dude.
So I'm calling customers. I'm like, we gotta move. We gotta open it up if you guys want to come in a little early, and if not, then we gotta be closed for some maintenance or something like that, right? So, he flew us out that way and kind of gave us a tour of his shop and met up with Jess and Mike from Raps. Shout out to you guys. Y'all are always awesome.
So they were out there too.
They ended up flying out there too, and
Were they out there for the same? Were they out there for Pikes Peak?
Yeah, exactly.
Get out of here.
So we ended up they sponsor the Fan
How
Fest.
freaking cool is that?
Dude, it was awesome. It was something that I didn't even know was needed to be on the bucket list, right? So
Pikes Peak or just
the whole experience, the Fan
Dude,
Fest and all.
Pikes Peak is sick, man.
It really is.
Like I've never been, but I'm just saying, like we've wrapped a ton of cars for that, and you see like one extreme to the other, like the most basic stuff to like cutting edge, crazy,
100%.
Yeah. Our actually we're working on a banner for the shop, and it's Ken Block's car from
Awesome.
his run from Pikes Peak is a big portion of it.
The not the Unicorn, the Pegasus one.
Yep.
Yeah,
the Mustang.
No. I thought you were talking about the Porsche, the pink Porsche that never ran up.
Oh no,
because it kept blowing motors.
Yeah.
That
I
last
think
time.
his daughter actually ended up running that car after he passed. I think
That's the last time I actually saw Ken Block was actually at the thing.
At Pikes Peak?
Yeah, at Pikes Peak.
Dude, that's
I
sick.
talked to him while we were out that way
That's
when they
cool.
brought out the I think it was the Pegasus something or another. But yeah, so that was definitely a bucket list thing.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, Kevin brought us out there, didn't expect us to do anything, and next thing you know, I put my own ass to work. We're out there wrapping the streets.
That's what I was gonna say. I think I've seen him post like a
Dude, they do it big. They wrap the entire street of their block.
That's for Pikes Peak.
It's for Fan Fest, right? So all the cars that either are going to run or have run in the past, or just
They
people
line
wanna
the
come out
streets
there,
or something?
They line the whole
Get
streets
out of here!
It's
I did
really
not
awesome.
realize that's what that is, because I've seen him post about it before, and I just thought it was like a I'm from Randleman. It's like one town over. It's a small town, but they do like a fest. They call it NASCAR days, right? And it's not really anything special, but for the town, it's a cool thing, So I just assumed it was something like a fall festival or something. I didn't realize it aligned with Pikes Peak. Now it makes perfect sense.
Yep. And the next day is the actual race.
Is the race. I got it. That makes sense.
Yeah, super, super freaking
So
sick.
you got to experience all that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And they're the lead sponsor, so I'm sure that was a...
Yeah, no, it was awesome. Absolutely awesome. We get to check out literally everything,
That's
and
cool.
He even told us, he's like, hey, man, I've got some extra tickets for you if you guys actually want to go up on the mountain, yada, yada, yada. So super, super awesome experience. And funny enough, you said you were talking about wrapping cars and doing some. So one of the companies that's local to us is Thunder Bunny Racing. And so one of the girls, we were talking about race car drivers earlier.
Yeah.
Her name is Laura Hayes, and she is a fucking animal. She actually set like 4 records up there this past time.
Let's go.
We did their GT4 Supra for them. So we did a full livery from scratch. Morgan actually designed it up. We wrapped it.
Very cool.
And we did literally like right before, because they didn't even know. They got sponsored by like Mobile One, Yokohama Tire, a whole bunch of other sponsors just came in last second, and they're like, make the shit happen.
Dude.
So
It's a blue and white one.
it's a red. It's a red and black one.
I gave up on asking you to pull stuff up.
Well, I just you guys are like on it right now, and I just didn't want to interrupt.
No, man,
So,
interrupt at any given time.
Yeah.
I think so. If when you watch
I'm
when
gonna
you
pull this up just because.
Oh yeah, that's actually not even it. There, that was another GT4 that we had done.
What's funny about that car though, I've seen some of the live, because you did multiples of that car, right?
We've done a ton of GT4 Supras.
I
ton.
mean like that livery.
Oh no, they're all different.
Okay, but did you do 2 of those cars?
No, we did 2 of the red, black, and golds.
Oh, okay, maybe that's the one I've seen then.
I don't even know if it's posted on our. It's not even on our Instagram because we've been slacking. If you go
Lacking, bro.
I know, man. If you go on Thunder Bunny Racing, I guarantee you they have it on theirs. But
Are they a local to Greenville?
They are.
Okay.
Yeah, she absolutely crushed it. She set, like I said, like 4 different records. Like fastest woman, fastest GT4 car.
Did you have any cars that you had done while you were there? Like, did you get to see any?
No,
Okay.
that was the first time we went. That was like fresh. Everything was super fresh. And then obviously the opportunity got brought up again. We were actually going to fly out there.
Yep.
But because of how fast and how everything turned, like they needed 2 cars done in like no time.
That's racing.
Oh, dude, it was horrible.
That's racing.
And the livery was not the easiest to install either. It was a shitload of overlays and full base and then tons of decals. So it was like we were late, staying up late, last minute, couldn't get hotels.
Yep.
I was just like, well, it sucks to suck, but we're not making it out for this one. But, we got up. It was actually ended up working out. We watched it live.
So you got to see it.
Yeah, we actually got to watch it live. I recorded it, on my phone, wasn't anything crazy. But
isn't
just
that a badass feeling?
It is. It's like, holy shit, I can be proud of that.
Yeah.
And that going back to like building a team and stuff too, like that's something that we also try to get our guys involved in. It's like, dude, you're not just a number that just puts a sticker on a car. Like you should be going down the road and be like, I wrapped that fucking car. You see that Rolls Royce right there? I fucking did that.
Yeah, that's me.
You know what?
Yeah.
And brag. You want other people to brag about.
So there's something like historic about it for me. Like I always use like if you were to take all the race cars and put them out on the racetrack and they didn't have any wraps on them whatsoever, you wouldn't be able to tell a difference.
No.
Right? So like for me, like I always felt like we bring these guys to life.
You put your mark on it.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like and we're the guys. So it's like we're the ones that are turning on that light bulb. So then when that guy thinks back and he's like, man, that black car with the white letters and the red pinstriping and then somebody done that.
You brought their vision to life.
To life, yeah.
And then you made them get seen.
Yeah,
that much more.
And then a spectator, they're not thinking about it like this, right? Like they're not putting in the time and effort to think. They're just looking and saying, "Oh, look, there's Dale Earnhardt. That's my favorite driver," right? They're not really thinking about it. But the reason they get to see that is because of us, right?
Exactly.
And I'm not trying to make it sound like this great, grand, and glorious thing.
No,
and
but that's just the truth.
It's
branding,
right?
It's branding, and if you guys didn't do it, nobody would know the difference.
Nobody would know the difference, and so somebody would do it. But we're fortunate enough that we get to be the ones to do it, and so we take it serious, right? Like it's an important thing.
Correct.
And so, but it's always, man, it's so rewarding to look back and think that like that was us,
100%.
Like we done that.
Not even just seeing the product, but what's even a step more rewarding is when the customer sees that value in you. Like they come to us. That's actually on Pikes Peak Hill Climb right there.
That's the car.
That's the car.
Yep.
That is the actual car. You see the PW on the wing in the back.
Yep.
If you actually,
that's sick.
If you talk to some of them and they're like, they literally say, you made us look good. You made us get seen. And that's why we have such a great relationship with them, because they know that like we're going to come in and we're going to fucking crush it and we're going to keep it professional, but then we're going to market it too because we're proud of it. Like I want you to grow. When you grow, we grow, and we all grow together. Yeah. Instead of everybody trying to do their own thing and grow, on their own rate. If everybody were to actually get together and be on the same page to grow, dude, everybody fucking crush it.
Sure.
There's an old adage, I don't remember what it's called. It's if you want to go far, go alone. Or no, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
So
I like that.
We try to do that with all of our clients as well. Sure. Like, hey, we're not just someone to just do your job for you. We're invested. Like we go to some of the track days. We know all the team. We'll get together and do events, and we'll team up and do events together. And so we're doing that more and more with businesses, and more businesses are getting value and getting seen. No different than us all doing TikTok lives today. Sure.
And I apprite that idea, man. I didn't even think about it. Like we've been neglecting TikTok and really not. And it's funny because like I said, that's where I seen you. So like when you said it in my head, I was like, well, duh, we got to do that. Like that makes perfect sense. But just if your head's not in that space, you know what I mean? And yours is. This is what you do. You know what I mean? So it was like, it worked out really well.
I've missed out on way too many, in my opinion, I've missed out on way too many opportunities by just not clicking a button. And it goes back to, making shit easy, like, grandma and making a video on TikTok. Mm-hmm. If you make it so easy, why not do it?
Oh yeah, they've made it so simple.
That's what I'm saying.
We got our phones right here. Like it literally takes 2 seconds.
100%. So there's literally no excuse not to. I mean, there's been days in the shop where like I get in there and I'm like, I got so much stuff that needs to get done. And like, I want to engage with the chat, but some days I'm like, dude, I don't want to fucking go live. Sure. I've got too much stuff to do. And it almost feels like I'm robbing them of the experience if I don't talk to them. Sure. And it's like, I'm not trying to be a dick, but like I got shit to do. And it's like, I know they understand that. But then there's sometimes it's just like, I'm just not going to go live just because it's not fair, right? If I hop on, I'm going to neglect you the whole time. Sure. I'm not going to talk to you. There's not going to be anything interesting going on because we're doing, prep.
Would you say that would be like one of the top reasons for you not to go live?
More than likely. If
Yeah.
we have so much stuff that's like super time sensitive, I will just say, hey, we're just going to blow through this stuff, knock it out, and then we'll go live when we actually have time. Because the
Gotcha.
reality is it doesn't take that much time, but it's the engagement with the chat, right? So like, I want to talk, I want to answer questions, I want to develop relationships. Like these people are fucking awesome, dude. I mean, fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like we have people who have come in and they come in every day. Like we've got a guy named Nene and Mike and Marilyn and Joel. And like these people are from fucking everywhere all over the United States. Do we even have people from all over the world that come in and literally support us?
So there's
buy fucking clothes and merch from us. We sold out of merch and they were like, do you guys have merch? And I was like, no, because it took us 4 years to sell the first merch.
Right.
And they were like, no, we want merch. So we spent like $4 or $5 grand on merch, and then people just started buying their shit.
That's cool.
And like, dude, oh my gosh, we were at the shop late. I think it was actually during like the Pikes Peak getting that motherfucker done. And it was late. It was super late. And one of the guys is Joel, and he's from California. And Joel was like, oh man, you guys need a quick pick me up. He fucking looked up the shop address and sent us Insomnia cookies from California.
Get out of here.
Shout out Joel if you're in here, man.
Well, that's what I was about to say. There's a good chance that they're on right now.
Yeah.
Like some of those guys that you were just rattling off.
100%.
Like, that's cool.
Yeah,
Very
dude,
cool.
awesome fucking guys, man. Like literally show up every day, and you know we get to learn about their life just as much as they learn. I ain't gonna say just as much. Y'all fucking literally watch us live every day.
Sure,
but,
yeah.
You know we get to know where they're from, where they live, what they do for a living, and it's actually building a community, which is something that I slacked on for the longest time.
Well, and y'all have done a really cool job. I want to give you guys credit for this because I've like I said, I've been in the lives before. I've seen it. I think it's super cool what you're doing. But like, it's almost like it's become so much a part of what you guys do that it's not uncommon to hear Morgan answering questions, to hear you answering questions, to see one of the guys answering questions. So it's almost like you prioritize that. Like it's important to you to make sure that like there's engagement. It's not just throw up a camera and, you know, turn a live on. You're going kind of a step further than that and trying to.
It was that way in the beginning until we started to actually see like, hey, there's definitely something to this. And, you know, they're investing into our lives, you know, for a reason. So
Sure.
I feel like I owe them that as well, you know?
Gotcha.
There's a lot of people that come in and they're just like, yeah, fuck them, you know?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like they're supporting you. Like you're building a community, you're building something and people who support you. And so I can't be that guy that's just like, yeah, fuck them. I mean,
Right.
I can be, but not like for that. You know, it's
Yeah.
something that I think that actually matters. I mean, you look at like what Mr. Beast does. That dude has built a fucking massive community.
It's an empire for sure.
It is. And the thing is he couldn't have done it without the people.
For sure.
And it's not that I'm using TikTok to build that. It obviously has happened. I just went live one day just to show people kind of what we do and to kind of educate people. But it's literally spiraled into something that's been not even something close that I thought it was going to be. Right. You know, it's opened up opportunities to meet someone like you or meet something like Conrad. As a matter of fact, funny story. I go to do the KPMF Oracle training class.
Yeah.
And I walk in there and they walk around and start doing like the introductions, whatnot. I say my name, where I'm from, and just pretty much just call it at that.
Right.
I had 3 guys come up to me in that training class and said, I watch you on TikTok live all the
Get
time.
out of here.
And then one of the shop guys from EVW walks up to me and says, this is you. I said, yes, it is. While I'm doing my certification class. He said, I watch you all the time.
That's cool.
So you never know what opportunities it opens up. And so for me, why not? Why not do it?
So do you see more people in the industry watching and interacting, or do you see more people outside the industry coming in?
People that react are definitely outside the industry. People that are in the industry, they like to sit back and be silent and not watch. And I don't know what that reason is, because I've even told people like, hey, reach out, say something next time you're in the live, say what's up.
Sure.
You know, I don't mind shouting you out. I don't care.
Yeah, my go-to move when I hit your live is the first thing, just go ahead and like it. Like as soon as I go in, because I never know how long I'm going to stay, right? Like I'm doing chances are I'm doing something, right? So I just like, it's too easy.
Yeah.
It like literally you tap the screen twice, sends a heart, you know, hey, you could see I was there.
Yep.
If you do or you don't, doesn't really matter. I feel like I've done my part to kind of.
It's literally that easy. It's
It
the
is.
tap of a screen to show support. And
Yeah.
so there's literally no excuse not to do that for other guys. And like even, I'm not going to say we're big by any means, shape or form, but I will go on to other people's lives and make a point. Like you've got 11 people in your thing and you're rapping in your garage, bro. I'm going in there and I'm asking you like, what film are you using? How you doing, bro? What are you doing? Like to try to elevate other people up to continue to keep doing, because I was where where they were. And not everybody has that same headspace where they're strong. Because at the beginning, dude, there was a lot of people who came for us. And
What do you mean?
Just as far as talking shit, you know, local
Really?
guys, things like that. And so I'm in
Just
my
hate.
headspace.
Just
It's
come
just,
in, just
it's just hate. And
Yeah.
I understand what it's rooted in. But at the time, it's like you couldn't really reach out and try to build a community with people that you actually trusted. So I kind of had to keep my head down, keep my head down, do me, figure it out as I went. And if I had other people to have a support that's like, hey man, you should try this or look at doing this, and just try to give people that leg up to do better.
Are you at least seeing it now some?
What's that?
Like that support from the industry, like that?
I don't necessarily, I'm not like looking for support from the industry or anything.
I'm just curious if you've seen it, like if it
Oh,
seems
100%. Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I mean, hell, reaching out to here.
Yeah,
and,
but one guy is, you know what I mean? Like I'm not making the world a
Ken
difference.
from Bullet Auto.
Very cool.
You know, Conrad and Bobby over from Exotic Vehicle
Wait.
Wraps. Kevin from Auto.
Ken's on TikTok?
Ken's not on TikTok.
Damn it. I
Ken
thought
is
we were
like anti-TikTok.
I know.
I've tried to get him on that, but there's a lot of guys in this industry that are huge and will do anything to help you out. So I've got a lot of love and a lot of people that are willing to do that. Austin from Pain is Dead.
Sure. Austin's great.
Great dude. There's some amazing people in the industry, and I'm not even looking for validation for that.
Sure.
I'm just
I was
looking
just
to help other people out and say, because I know what it's like to be feeling like, holy shit, nobody sees me. I'm in my backyard and nobody is valuing what I do. But the reality is they are, you just don't see it.
Right.
It is such a fucking delayed reaction. It's not even funny. It's like a rubber band effect, right? You're just pulling. And next thing you know, you fucking let go and it fucking hits all at once.
Gotcha.
You know the saying, every overnight success took 10 years.
Sure.
Well, it's fucking 10 years of pulling the rubber band back.
Sure.
And then immediately it fucking hits.
Yep.
So, but having that support from random people that maybe they look up to, which I've had people that are like, holy shit, Precision's in my life. And I'm like, dude, I'm just a normal fucking dude like you.
Right.
And just trying to give people that leg up and that like, hey, that a boy, you got this, keep it going.
Yeah.
I think it's
I
huge.
like it. Yeah,
Absolutely huge.
No, I agree. I think it's cool to see. I get it. I get excited about it because, I mean, like I said, this happens to be my medium, but like I want to see how other rappers are doing it. You know, we like some of the old school guys, like having Kevin on. Like Kevin's one of those guys where I'd love to Kevin Kemp.
Yeah.
Kevin's cool. Right. So is the other Kevin too. But I'm just saying, like those kind of guys, like asking them to come on the podcast, like it's almost like there's a part of them that's like, why would I do that? What, you know,
Yeah.
dude,
so
I ain't got time for that shit. Like I'm out here. And they're truly, they're
there's
working hard and they're doing their thing. And you know what I mean? But dude, they bring so much value and so many cool stories. Like Jamie, I'd love to get Jamie down here from Rap Artist.
Yeah.
Cause dude, like he's just a box full of funny stories and crazy shit that like, you know, you've been in the industry 10 years. He's been in it 25 years.
Exactly.
He could come on here and he could drop one little thing that completely shifts your whole business. You know, you can go, I think you said it earlier when we were talking, you were like, you know, that's kind of been your big motivation to go out and network, right? Like go out and meet these people because like I said,
It's invaluable.
yeah.
It's invaluable.
And it could be, they may think it's nothing, right? In their mind, they're like, oh shit, I've been doing that for 20 years. That's no big deal. But it's like, dude, you never know how somebody comes into this industry, right?
100%.
So their perspective and how they see it and what they're doing, completely different. Like you came in through painting, but there's plenty of guys that came through window tinting, right?
Yeah.
There's plenty of guys that came through detailing. So a painter's perspective, completely different from a detailer's perspective, right?
A window tinner.
Or a window tinter, right?
I'm trash at window tinner.
Some of those things overlap a little bit, but like it's to have that access or availability to
Knowledge.
Yeah, that knowledge is, man, it's so invaluable.
Which goes back to coming together and actually
Right.
trying to build each other up. And that's one thing that I've hated about this industry for such a long time. And I'm not trying to say that it's everybody in the industry, but it's very cutthroat in the sense of like a lot of people will put other shops down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just dogging them out. And I'm like, dude, if you guys fucking work together and come up with a pay structure that everybody can win instead of racing to the bottom of the barrel, everybody fucking makes money. And I don't understand that. Like,
Sure.
you're always going to not know something,
Right.
but I want to know somebody who knows what I need to know.
Right.
And if you build that network, you know, the old saying, your network
eventually.
is your net worth.
100%. Because one of those dudes are going to know it.
100%.
I mean, essentially, you're building an army, and those, you know, you're going to be able to. Hey, does anybody know this? And that one guy, that's what he does. Like, if I ever had a question about wrapping a bus, I could pick up the phone and call Jamie, and he's going to have
He's going to have the answer.
The answer.
And if he doesn't, he knows somebody.
100%. He's going to be able to turn you on to it. And so it is interesting. Like with the racing stuff, there's so much of that work, and it's such a pain in the ass that like we didn't have a whole lot of that. So it was almost like I was happy to hear that there was other people out there doing it. Not necessarily because I'm happy for them, but it was almost like I'm happy somebody else feels that pain. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, yeah, dude, we're eating shit together.
Right.
You know what it tastes like. I get that all the time.
And you'll run into them and you'll be like, there's shit that I know that you know, and you know that I know that nobody else knows, and we can relate on that.
You still
man.
got a little right here, actually.
Yeah. And it's such a good feeling. And so, but like, so I didn't deal with that a lot. We didn't see a whole lot of shit talking. Now in the production houses, you could go in and they would be like, oh, fuck them. You know, TDS has been around for a long time. And you would hear it a lot that people would be like, fuck TDS. Them motherfuckers, they're crooks. They're doing this, they're doing that. And it's like, well, I done work for them and they seem pretty good to me. Like, yeah. Cause I feel like, we're kind of Switzerland. We're neutral and we're doing a little here, doing a little there. But, so we didn't deal with it as much. But then I'm telling, as soon as I stepped into the training role, boy, it's like I had a fucking target on my back.
Oh, dude. Massive. Don't even get me started on
with
that.
3M, you know what I mean? It's like I just read this thing the other day where these guys
you had two things going against you: trainer,
everything,
and then 3M.
Right. It was like the work, and it was like I'm still proud. I don't care. Let them. Dude. There is in my opinion, take it for what it's worth. There's an elite group of trainers out there that I'm proud to be a part of that group. There are some badass motherfuckers. They really are, and they're really good at training. They know their shit, and they're equally as good as installing. Again, in my opinion, and I'm proud to be part of that group. It's not easy getting in that group, and
not only that, you're taking on way more responsibility than somebody who's just doing a job.
But I see somebody, and they're in the comments talking about a 3M training or 3M trainers, and it's like, hey guys, pump the brakes here for a second, man. Like you're talking about me. Remember, we're boys. Like we're cool, and it's like
so you thought.
I thought, you know what I mean? And it's like, guys, you think about what you're talking about, because if I can't remember what the old expression is where somebody says it's like if you teach or it's like those who teach can't. Something, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, basically they try to play down on the people who have to come in and teach like a course because they couldn't make
because
it.
They couldn't hack it.
But that's not even close.
Not
the
even
people who have made it have now they have the money and the time that they can step away and actually teach.
Give it back.
One of our clients is a freaking Airbnb, how to do Airbnb arbitrage. That guy got the number one, I just found this out the other day, number one selling book on Amazon right now. And he just did his first Audible for not like podcast, but a thing.
So is he in the Airbnb?
He does the Airbnb space, but he's done it so extremely successful that he wrote a book on it and everything. And it's the number one on Amazon.
To teach other people
Correct.
to do it.
And he's doing it. Like we've had the conversation. I'm watching him do it. I see the numbers. He's open about it. So it's not because you're teaching somebody that you can't. I think that's the smartest thing that you could do, because again,
it's kind of the natural evolution, right?
It opens you up to so much more.
Well, it's kind of like going from color change to commercial, right? I mean, it only makes sense. I mean, if you're wrapping a guy's Ferrari and he owns a business and he's got 20 vans, why would he not use you?
There you go.
He trusts you with his prized possession.
He'll definitely do it with 30 Fleet.
Yeah, right.
That his guys are going to beat the shit out of.
Right.
So, you know, he doesn't really care.
No, but at the same time, he didn't get there by not valuing something.
Correct.
You know, if it's quality job, if it's a good price,
Could just be a relationship that he knows that you're not going to bullshit him.
Sure.
And that's what I think a lot of our customers are for, right? Like, I'll be straight up. I don't want your money. Like, all money is not good money for me. I used to call myself the anti-salesman because I'd let people walk out left and right. Didn't give a shit. And it wasn't until one of the guys who's actually been doing some mentoring with me now, he's like, you're a salesman. And he said, you'll be better off accepting the fact sooner than later. And I said, we'll agree to disagree on that one. And then
is he in the industry?
No, not even close.
Outside the industry.
No, this dude does fucking $50 million plus a year, and it's something totally different that you would never think is even scalable, which is even better because I want that insight on something that's not scalable to be that scalable, right? So,
well, he knows something.
100%. And so I called the guy up, and that's actually who we're doing the roles for, funny enough.
Oh, nice.
And so I called the guy up, and he was in like fucking Switzerland or some shit, right? And he's like, I said, dude, you're fucking right. He's like, what are you talking about? I said, last conversation we left off, I said, you're 100% right. I figured it out. I am a salesman. I just don't sell the way that sleazy fucking, car salesmen do. Right. If you're a car salesman and you take offense to this, it's probably because you're a fucking sleazy car salesman.
You're a slime ball.
Exactly. So, And I said, I would like to set up a conversation and kind of have that chat. And so sometimes being direct and not trying to make a sale, you make a sale. Like me trying to tell you, hey, you don't want to do this because this is a better option is not me upselling you. It's just because of the truth.
Sure.
And then also sometimes you come in here and I'm like, dude, do not waste your money. You brought me a $800 clapped out Honda Civic, and I know it's your first car and you're proud of it. Save your fucking money.
Right.
Like, or go get Mako paint job at best.
I'll tell you, it's not only about making the sale, because realistically, at that point, you're not selling your product.
Selling yourself.
You're selling yourself, and that honesty, you may not get that sale,
but you'll get another one.
You're going to get another one. They're going to refer you, or they're going to, if they get it and they respect it. You know what I mean? It's going to be, so you're building relationship. You're selling relationship. That's what you're selling.
It goes back to the end of the day. People buy from people.
Right.
And last time I checked, customers buy because they are people.
Sure.
You're not selling to businesses. The businesses aren't people.
Yeah, exactly.
It's people. You sell to people. So you build relationships, and then you either sell a product or a service.
Yeah, and it's so much easier when you're authentically you. You know what I mean? Like when you're just being yourself and you're not trying to put on some kind of fucking show. Like it just like
you gotta watch it sometimes.
I'm telling you,
because Morgan will be like, "You can't say that to people."
I got
and I'm like, "But I did."
Yeah. Well, you got to have that team too, right? You got to have that support.
I know my strong points. I know bullshit is not something that I deal with, and I even have to worry about that. You know, even in my own team, you know, I got to be careful about how I approach certain people. Certain people aren't built to handle the very just rough honesty.
Sure.
I'm not even trying to come off as a dick. It just maybe does come off that way.
Sure.
And so I know that I either have to step back or I'm not the guy to have that conversation.
Right.
I might need to delegate that to someone else and say, hey, you know, you handle this because I'm not going to say it in a way that may be perceived well.
Sure. Yeah. Well, you want it to resonate too. Like you want it to connect, right?
100%.
And it's like, you know, if you were, you know, trying to throw a baseball over a fence, you know, either you can or you can't. But if the guy standing next to you can, just give him the ball and let him throw it.
That's what I'm saying.
It's that easy. You don't have to overcomplicate it. And having a team, man, that's the key, right?
That's what we're figuring out now. So I'm in the process of learning how to be a leader. I'm in the process of learning how to build a team and how to scale a business and how to structure a business. Sure. There's a lot of people who will come on here and act like they got their shit together, and you may, but you can always do something better. And so for me, I know that that's where my weak points are, and that's what we're doubling down on. Like we've gotten the color change figured out. We've gotten a lot of clients locked in. We're learning. We've gotten some marketing and some branding kind of figured out, but now it's like it's now or never. What got us to this point will not get us to the next level.
Gotcha.
And we have to structure, build a team, build a process, and fucking crush it.
Well, all right. So I want to go back to the printer thing. So you bought the printer. It sounds like it was a nightmare.
Yeah, we got it halfway working where we can do some stuff. We had to up the ink density to like 140%. We're doing 16 pass on everything that we do, which is fucking crazy, no matter what. And we had to up the interpass delay only to be able to get it to basically print out something and not look like shit. So we're blowing through ink and print heads and the whole nine, right?
Really?
But, you know, we're looking at possibly getting either Epson or something else. But anyways, my whole point was we got into it and we wanted to start doing custom printed designs.
Okay.
That was like something that we wanted to get into.
So are you doing some of that?
Oh, we do a ton of those.
Cool.
We actually have already been doing that and color change since 21.
Cool.
And so we started
outsourcing it before?
Yeah, we were having to outsource. So we were using like We Print Wraps, which Trish and those guys are amazing.
Yeah, very cool.
Trish, Manny.
Dude, I was really surprised. They showed out at SEMA this year.
Dude, they really did.
You know what I'm saying? Like they normally do pretty good.
They showed out and then they showed out.
I know. Like they do.
She was sipping on a little something too.
Well,
So she was showing out.
You know what I'm saying? Like like that's the time to do it.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? Like enjoy that shit. Like I think like the effort that they've put into the industry.
Dude, crushed it.
Fucking,
and continuing to put it.
I know. Did you
also,
see
shout out We Print Wraps. You guys literally have fucking crushing it.
100%, man. I like what they're doing. I think it's almost become a stable now.
That's the thing. We're changing the standards.
You know what I'm saying?
We're changing the standards.
It's so easy to reference them. Like when somebody asks that question, like if I'm working with a young installer and they're like, hey, where do I even start? I mean, it's just like, look,
Metro,
man,
We Print Wraps.
Yeah, it's just they've made it too easy and streamlined to where it's like, yeah, you could probably go a different direction, but like, man, starting out, just go this way for now. It's going to be so much easier on you.
100%. Even Metro had its downfalls there for a little bit. They were using like Alwan wraps or whatever it was. We used them like 4 or 5 times, and you know, it wasn't that it was anything bad. The process was just not very streamlined.
Clunky.
It was very 1998 internet.
Sure. So no, I thought it was cool. You were at the WWW Rap Party.
Yeah, I was.
And like them doing like the awards. Did you stay to the end and get to see all the stuff?
I did not.
Dude, it was
I
sick.
think I left right when they were doing the Women's Rapper of the Year.
Okay.
I think it was.
Yep,
and
yep.
then we had prior engagements to go meet up with. I don't remember. Sorry if
no,
y'all
that's cool.
remember.
But so they at the end they did so they're doing a series in 2025 that's kind of like a Pimp My Ride kind of thing, but it's like based around raps and like it's like a whole thing, like it's a whole series. So on top of what they've already done, this is kind of their. They were doing some stuff last year or this year with like shop. Going in and seeing shops and stuff like that, and I thought that was cool. I was like, damn,
That's actually really cool.
Yeah, that's a cool way to market it. And then now this way, like this new thing is like a full production. I mean, I don't have all the skinny on it, so I don't want to, you know what I mean? But they've posted some stuff on it.
It's even more than marketing because, again, it builds hype and it builds something that people want to be a part of. It goes back to what I said. Well, I don't like to talk about myself for the first 15 minutes because no one really gives a shit.
Sure.
But everybody else wants to normally show off their stuff, right?
Yeah.
They're proud of it and there's nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
But for them to be a part of it and say, hey, we're going to come to your shop and they get the exposure, they're going to be more prompt and more likely to repost the stuff that We Print Raps does.
I think it runs parallel kind of what to you're doing too, because now it's like they're touching people outside of the industry,
which is what needs to be done anyways.
It really does.
Those are either your new clients or those are your new employees or even potentially your new shop owners.
Exactly.
So why would you not be? Why market to people in your industry?
It's dumb.
It's
really.
dumb. That's
it's
literally
like a
marketing
flex
101. Yeah, no one fucking cares. No one fucking cares.
It really is like that. Like it's like you're trying to like show to your. It's almost like a Dungeons and Dragons thing.
I need to show you how valuable I am.
Yeah,
and
for validation.
For validation.
Or whatever the thing is.
No, it is.
Chances are
it's all validation.
Yeah.
And I get it. Everybody falls into that trap.
Sure.
I was out here trying to do, one piece everything for the longest time. And I was just like, fuck it. It's going to have a seam. It's going to hold and it's going to last. Now I'll still do some shit. Then I'm like, I want to see if I can do this right.
Right. But it's not about everybody else at that point.
It's not.
No,
It's like,
you're
this is for
pushing the
me.
limits of you and the film,
exactly.
everything. And it's important. You need to know.
For marketing, though, I think what they're doing is they're crushing it, though. They really, really are. And I wish more and more people would actually start looking at it that way. But even if they don't, fuck them.
Yeah.
They're missing out
Let
on
'em
it.
ride.
That's more for everyone else. If you want to be successful in 2025, you need to get ahead of the curve because honestly, this industry is so behind in it.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to fucking crush it. You'll be part of the 1%.
Yep.
And I'm looking at y'all.
Yeah.
Make sure to put me in here, Josh. I'm pointing to this camera.
Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, we're doing our best, man. Are you talking about us or them?
No. I'm
Both.
saying anybody who has a rap shop and is still trying to market to the rap industry, you're doing it wrong. You need to be marketing to your potential customers. That is 101 for business. Like if you're selling a product, you're not going to sell something that's not a consumable. If you have a brand new car, you're not going to try to sell them the exact same brand new car. They fucking already have one.
Right.
So you want to try to find who that customer is. And I've seen that happen time and time again. And I'm thinking to myself, why are they doing this? I figured that'd be 101.
Well, this is an interesting conversation, and I don't want to run off too far on a tangent here because this is a hot topic for me. Like I'm all over it. You're looking at it like it's 101, right? But it's marketing 101. And it's really interesting to me that all these companies are a marketing resource, right? So a rap shop is a marketing resource, right?
Yeah.
The majority of these companies, they don't realize that.
No.
They don't know that they're a marketing resource for their customer. They're not marketers, right? They produce graphics. They think they're like a manufacturer. They think, right? So
That's the mindset.
That's the mindset. So they've completely disassociated with what they're actually doing is they're a marketing resource, right? So, and you can tell just by just exactly what you just said, they don't understand the basics of marketing.
Yep.
You know how challenging that is to try to service somebody in a marketing space when you don't understand marketing and really your product that you're selling or even in some cases your service, depending on how your business is modeled. It's either way, it's still a marketing product or service. When you don't understand that and you're trying to sell your customer on that,
Yeah.
dude, you're at such a disadvantage.
Yep.
And all you have to do is look at what they're doing, right?
100%. And I've seen that too. And I even use this as a marketing point for our own stuff. I said, hey, not only are you going to come in here and we're going to, wrap your fleet or whatever the hell it is, right? But you're going to get exposure because you're going to see on our Instagram, which has XYZ, or our TikTok, which goes live every day, that you're getting seen. And man, I could look in my chat and ask them right now. I guarantee you they could probably put in a couple businesses of what we've wrapped solely based on, because they've been there for the last year.
Sure, just rattle stuff
off. And also another thing is
that's cool.
You can, 100%. It's free marketing for the customer that they're getting the added benefit. And another thing that we started doing that was different from everybody else is we do professional photo and video of almost every full color change that we do. And so we do that for our own marketing, but we also give that to the customer as an added benefit. And then they go and they post it up. And then they go to the dinner party, their Christmas dinner party, like, yo, look at my car on YouTube.
Yeah.
And so they market for you and you use what you were already going to do.
I wish more people
for marketing.
I mean, you talked about this earlier, but I wish more people would do it for the podcast. I might have already talked about it on the podcast. I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember, but I'm just saying, I wish more people would do it from the podcast, even if like we've hyped up a few people on this podcast, right?
And there's more where that came from.
But if I listened to podcasts, right? Like Blake's podcast, right? Like the Rap IQ podcast, right?
Okay. I haven't listened to any of these. I catch clips of them from like John for the Rap IQ.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Oh, I said Blake, didn't I?
Yeah, I know what you meant though when you said Rap IQ.
Yeah. That was a bash at John. That was a joke. It was pretty funny.
Shout out Blake, whoever you are.
Blake Matson is the guy that's on the Rap IQ podcast. He's with John.
Okay, I've only seen John on some of the stuff.
So anyway, if you're watching the podcast and if they were to reference me on the podcast, I would clip it and share it. Why not?
Yeah,
it's pretty baller. You know what I mean? I think it would be pretty cool, right?
Getting talked about.
Yeah, exactly.
Means you're relevant.
Yep, and it's easy. It's an easy way to show that. Clip that 20 seconds or whatever, turn around, share it, and put it out there and be like, hey guys, look, check out how cool this is. These guys, I don't even really know these guys, and they're giving you your flowers, right? For something, right? Now, and I'm just that's how I think about it. I'm looking at it like Rugs from, do you subscribe to Rap Fam Unleashed?
Dude, when I tell you that I have not been a part of this industry, I mean, I literally have like separated myself out and just done us.
Josh, can you pull up Rap Fam Unleashed real quick? I just want you to check this out.
I'm not part of the Rap Room, Rap Society.
None of that
family,
stuff?
Dude,
you got to check out some of that stuff.
I literally have.
Okay, so I know I can trip your trigger there.
What do you want me to pull up?
Just anything from Rap Fam. It'd be awesome if you could get the actual magazine up. You get an email every month with.
You act as if it's like buried underneath a rock on Mars or something like that.
Okay, funny
enough, I got to show you something about that. We'll go back to the Mars.
Oh no.
Well, it goes back to the marketing thing.
All right.
So every month, Rugs puts out an edition of Rap Fam magazine.
Shout out Rugs.
Shout out Rugs. He's been a huge help for us. When the Knife Tucker first came out, he ran an ad almost immediately. It's a really great resource. You get some really good articles, from the best of the best in the industry. I mean, some of the, in my opinion, the leaders of the industry, you're going to see, they're writing an article or they're posting a video, and it's just a really cool resource that, a lot of rappers, and it just, I don't know, it makes me feel like we're connected, and maybe. But the reason I bring it up, so like...
that car was sick, by the way.
Yeah.
They Ryan and Jess and Mike fucking crushed it.
But if you weren't at SEMA...
You didn't see that.
You might have missed it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or if you don't follow them, like, if you're a rapper. And so I just think it's a really cool way to showcase it. And it's not like a showboaty, like Mike and Jess didn't call and ask to be in the magazine, right? That was just something that they do.
Check it out.
Yeah. He puts in the we're the featured podcast.
That's us, dude.
It's really cool that he does that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so now if people are curious or they're looking for a podcast, they know where to find it. It's right there. So it's and I feel the same way about like the Rap Society, the Rap Room, stuff like that. It's such a good resource to where, yes, occasionally you'll post and ask a question and you're going to get a couple of douchebags that give you like the you'll say, what's the best software to be using? And they'll say, Microsoft Paint, dumbass. It's like,
That's funny.
You know what? Exactly. Like, so there's some of that comes with it, right?
Yeah.
But there's also guys that have been doing it for a long time. Like I'll pop in every once in a while and like, Dan Antonelli, somebody will ask a design question and Dan's, he owns Kickstart or Kick Charge. I can't remember. Kick Charge. And, he'll give a legitimate, and so his business is they design wraps. That's it. Do you know who they are? Okay. Assuming you didn't know who they were. Their business is they design I shouldn't say that. Brand identities is probably the best way to put it. Like they design your brand's identity and that translates into they design your wrap.
Makes perfect sense.
But that's it.
Okay.
He's done after that.
Yeah, he's one of the few that had realized that what Scott's talking about, like that they're a marketing resource, and he has capitalized on it greatly.
But
that's awesome.
And when I say like, do yourself a favor, look him up. He's a fucking slayer. He's got a book. It's a fantastic book. It's great. It really sheds some light into that space where I was talking about being a marketing resource. He articulates it so well. But he'll pop in on those things, and he'll just drop just like a bombshell on people. Like, what the, like, where did that come from? You know what I mean? And so, and the magazine's the same way. Somebody will. I read one not long ago. Matthew Lewinsky was talking about PPF, and like I'm reading it. Like I know how to install PPF. I'm a PPF trainer. I feel confident about it. Matthew's a PPF trainer. He installs PPF for a living, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was talking about like linear stretch and like how like his techniques for clear versus colored are just slightly different, and like got me to thinking like, oh shit, you're right. So when I'm doing that, I can use that tack versus this gel, and interesting because I don't do a lot of colored PPF, right? Most of the stuff we were doing was clear, and we're doing on the front ends of race cars. So having that little. Yeah, you wouldn't think it would make a big difference.
It's the little nuances that literally
like,
just make the difference.
Yeah, and when he said it, I was like, shit, damn, that's right. Or as a trainer, I'm reading stuff, and like people use certain words like a buffer, right? There's a buffer between the adhesive and the substrate, and it's not necessarily just liquid, right? There's a slip solution in there, and you need it to legitimately slide, right? Yeah. And when you're trying to articulate that to a student, you want to do it in such a way that it clicks. And if it doesn't, you need something else in your back pocket to pull out. And, when you read that stuff or you see these stuff, like these are pros. These are the real.
That's the beauty of being around that many people.
Exactly.
And you learn and you say, oh, I'm still that. Like, I'm taking this. That's really good.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Dang it. So, and then we're like Dustin, I got so many of those little quotes and little things working with Dustin that it was just like, dude, it was like, I feel like I'm loaded to the gills sometimes, and sometimes I forget to give credit where credit's due. And I've been really fortunate with networking and getting to meet people, dude. I hear so many good things that it's like, dude, I feel like I said, I feel like I'm loaded and prepared, but it comes from resources like that. So
100%. I steal from everybody.
That tangent on that, but it was, the
marketing and media basically doing something like that.
It's huge.
Josh, if you could, if you still had our Instagram pulled up, something that we just did with Christina from Curvaceous Wraps. I don't know if y'all know who she is or not. She is phenomenal at what she does. She is a killer. But we took a combination of marketing, traditional, basically print, and wanted to put like a color change / custom design on it. So it's not just your standard commercial wrap. The Cybertruck that we have up here.
She's low key, dude. Like not a lot of people know about her. She's getting a lot of credit from like some serious killers here lately. Like I don't know exactly how her business works, but oh yeah, that is sick. So I did see this.
This is for a storage company. The storage company, and they did it really well. That it's called Out of Space. Okay, so it's Out of Space. And
Mars thing makes sense now.
Yeah.
So funny enough. I was like, we got to find somewhere to shoot this. Again, I told you to do professional photo and video every time we do something, especially cool projects, right?
Yep.
These are just the photos that recently dropped. And I'm like, I am in South Carolina, in Greenville, in a city. Where the fuck are we going to try to find somewhere that looks like Mars to shoot this? And then I had the idea, we need to shoot it in a quarry.
Yep.
So I called like 5 or 6 quarries. They all gave me the middle finger. And then one guy was like, you need to try this one. They run fast and loose. And I was like, I like fast and loose.
Yeah.
Pause. But I was like, yeah, this is going to happen.
So
that dude invited us down, was like, you should come back in 9 days. We're going to do some blasting. I was like, oh,
Let's go.
let's
He
go.
got it.
Dude, he did.
Yeah.
And so the video footage of like, it had to fit what the vehicle looked like, right? But that has just taken a unique way of doing. It doesn't matter what you are, who you are, you're going to look at that and it's going to draw your attention.
Sure.
No
You're
one
going to
really-
ask.
No one really kind of gives a fuck if that was just a normal box truck and that was just said their company and all their locations. But that is going to be a conversation starter.
For sure.
And that is going to be something that is going to be, in my opinion, the new unique way to do commercial wraps. It's going to be a hybridized blend
Sure.
of color change, custom print, and commercial.
That's so funny you say that, because like in the racing space, Scott and I have always talked about like the amount of work that we are doing as installers. Like, so it used to be like, you put your number and your name and your sponsor decal on the side of your car.
Pretty standard issue. Like you look at any of these cars, you get, it's pretty much laid out where that's where
Traditional
that's the
marketing.
thing. Yeah, that's it.
But now there's this like thing where you are literally like every car is custom,
As it
pretty
should be.
much.
As
You
it should be.
make your mark and you create your brand.
You're right. And now there's a little bit of that, like, your signature, your number. Sure. Play in a space where you keep it a little tight, where you can recognize that and you know that, okay, that's his.
Yeah.
But
You know
now,
what I mean?
but from an installer's point of view, like now you've got like you're doing butt seams from white to orange, and then you're laying like a pinstripe over that to make
it's
sure
way worse for an
make sure
installer.
Oh, yeah.
you know what I'm saying. So like, or this seam has to line up with this seam because it rolls around the headlight from the hood to the fender. Like,
It's dog shit.
crazy stuff,
It's
dude.
dog shit. I know it is. But it looks so good. And honestly, it does. Like we talked about earlier with the Pikes Peak stuff, right? It sets you off. It's those
sets you
small,
apart,
it
right?
sets you apart. It's all the little small nuanced things that adds up to be a big, big thing. And so, I mean, dude, honestly, if there's anybody in the space that's been doing that for some time, it's Bruno. Bruno has been
true that.
fucking
Yeah, yeah.
crushing it. Honestly, Bruno has been like Morgan and I's like inspiration between him and like RDBLA. We've looked up to kind of how they have their business models, how they push stuff, push the boundaries, kind of build hype and stuff that's like not unique.
Sure.
Or not unique. It's unique in a way that, how they do it.
Right.
It's they just take like blends and hybridize
it's
things
sick.
and put stuff together. And so I'm
Well,
like,
and it's themed. It's like there's a theme to it. It's not just a cool wrap that's all
Correct.
like that. Like that, there's a theme to that. Like,
Correct.
from start to finish, it was all intentional, right? Like they picked a Cybertruck because it looks like it's from outer space, right? Like they didn't just randomly pick that vehicle. No, it fits the marketing perfectly. I'm
Correct.
assuming.
No. And that's what it was. And honestly, huge shout out to them because they let us do our job the way that we need to, right? So they came to us and say, hey, we want to do a commercial wrap
Looks
on
like
our.
y'all crushed it, really.
I appreciate it, man. It was dog shit. I'm telling you that right now.
Did you wrap all the plastics too? Was that-
All the plastics got wrapped.
Yeah.
The bumpers, it was horrible. I can go into that if
It
you,
looked
if you
good.
got time. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
I'm good.
But they came to us and said, hey, we want to do something unique. And we got this business and it's storage space and yada, yada. And I was like, okay, cool. What are y'all thinking? And it was something kind of traditional. And I'm like, no. I was like, if you guys want to do something and
turn
really,
up.
really crush it out, like you got a Cybertruck, you already got the looks, right? It's got to match that. So I was like, we should do something like sick, like out of space, Cybertruck.
Was your go-to call
100%.
Christine?
First person I called.
really?
Christina, I have seen, and when it comes to hyperrealism, in my opinion, no offense, Ryan, if you're listening, but
He's listening.
The hyperrealism, I think that Christina has she is that dialed in. Like her portrait pictures and like
Oh, I know. I just recently seen her post.
it's just so insane. And so I looked at that and I said, she's the woman for the job for this. And so I called her and she had actually been wanting to do a Cybertruck. So she was fucking
Very cool.
amped about the project. I got all of us on a 3-way call. And
I want to put this out there real quick. She, I was reading through a post the other day that she had posted a video of her working on a project, and another installer asked, like, "Hey, have you considered selling prints?" And her response to that was so like modest and humble, and like,
she is the most humble person I think I've ever met in this industry. And I'm not saying that to be nice.
And it came off like in such a way that like after I read it, I was like, she better hope that thing don't go up for sale because I'm buying one
Yeah.
immediately, just because the response, it was so spot on that was like almost almost as if like maybe she said it in such a nice way too, but it was like that's not the point.
Yeah.
That this isn't for that. Not that, you know, if all the stars aligned, sure, she'd probably sell some copies of it and it wouldn't be a big deal. But
I don't
like
think she would.
Right.
She's genuinely that person.
Right.
She is.
She's like, it's not really for that, you know, it's just like, it's for what it's for the art.
Yeah.
And there's something about that that's just like gives you the warm and fuzzies. Like you're
That's who she is.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's she on as Instagram?
Curvaceous Wraps.
Okay.
Yeah.
We went back and forth on a lot of stuff, and like even in that design, right? So because we were trying to find the intermediate between commercial and like custom print. Ooh, tacos coming back up. We were trying to find that balance, right? And so, you know, the client's wanting to put all of the names and the address and the phone,
Sure.
and we're sitting there going back and forth, and you know, she's trying to be very modest and humble about it because it's her art, right?
Sure.
It has to look good for her to want to be able to put her name on it,
Right.
And so that's when I had to kind of come in and be a dick, and I'm like, listen, dude, if you want it to look, because she sent over proofs of what she thought it should look like, and they were like, I told him straight up, I was like, you let her do her job, let her do a proof.
This
and
is
then
what
see
she does.
This is what she does.
Trust
you
her.
trusted me, and
Right.
I'm trusting her to do her job. Like, you have the right people. You just need to sit the fuck back and let us do our job.
Good
right?
for you to be able to help navigate
Well,
that
at
process.
the end of the day, I don't give a shit. Like, if you don't want to do it by our rules, then bye. Go to someone else.
Sure. But
if we're gonna
there's
do
a
it,
small part of you too that wants to do it.
no, I
right?
definitely want to do it, but I'll have to do it, and it's got to be done right. We
Right.
will find a common ground, but it's not going to be you come in and dictate how we do what we do.
Sure.
We can all have a kumbaya meeting together, but we're not going to do that, right? And it's
Right.
going to be this way for these specific things. We can budge on some other stuff, but this has to be how we do things, right? So, long story short, he was cool with it. He let her do her thing. She turns her proof back, and he lost his fucking mind. He's
Loved
like,
it.
holy shit, this is so fucking crazy. And I think the only thing that we had to compromise on was actually putting the locations.
What
So
do
the
you mean?
locations, like if you pull it back up on our Instagram, the locations are on the very bottom of the rocker panel. And they're just very, very subtle. Like
Okay.
you wouldn't even see it because it doesn't jump out at you.
That's something that they requested.
That is something
Yeah.
that they requested. So
I gotcha.
Like you really can't even see it. You might be able to go to some of the
Maybe
other
I'll go to the
pictures.
next post.
Not there. Actually go to yeah, keep going on this one. Keep going on the actual install one. Yeah, you might not even be able to see them on there either.
Yeah, okay. A little bit down, like a green text there on the rocker.
Yeah, if you go back to the actual installation pictures, when we were actually installing it and kind of scroll through those towards the end, you'll start to see, I think, where they were put on the lower part of the rocker. But I think that's the only thing that ended up getting compromised on. And it's, a lot of stuff was actually Oracal too. So huge shout out to Oracal on this one. There you go. You can see the spot, the locations on the bottom.
I just had to do a pickup truck in an Oracal reflective.
Mm-hmm. The 5600.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I mean, if somebody else produced the graphics, I just installed it, but not bad.
It's pretty
Went
solid
down-
stuff.
Yeah, went down good, looks good, reflection's good.
Yeah, no, phenomenal. We wrapped everything, including the textured plastics, and all printed on 971
Okay.
or 970 RA, the new
Got it.
970 RA Silver Lake metallic. So
Oh,
everything was printed on silver to give that metal effect.
Sure.
And then all of the like energy emitting beam and the text on the side, all of that stuff is all in reflective. So it's all
Very
overlays
nice.
just
Very
to kind of get that extra added benefit of like, hey, not only are you going to be seen in the day, but you're also going to be seen at night.
see it in the night.
And I'm not going to hate my life installing this on a Cybertruck and hate my life if I have to remove this on a Cybertruck.
Was that something you guys put on, or was that something Christina?
Oh, it was something that I talked to the customer about as
got
well.
you.
I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
if we're going to do this, because we talked about just going all out at this point. He was like, if we're going to do it, like, let's do it. He's like, can you wrap the textured plastics? And I'm like, no, absolutely not. I said, I doubt they'll hold. And we got real creative on those as well. So like every single where there's a bend in the Cybertruck, in Christina's design, there is a weld. And so we use that as a seam to hide.
Get out of
So
here.
there's
dude.
like, it looks like there's welds on it, but those are all seams. So there's literally zero tension on it. So in theory,
It shouldn't.
it shouldn't lift.
Sure.
So
Yeah, I've seen some neat stuff where actually Mike and Jess did a video on it really early at Rap Sesh where they talked about putting like floor shine or something. I can't remember exactly what it was. Pledge, something like that, like on their plastics. And then like it creates I don't know if it solidifies it, but it like creates like a layer of smooth that you can actually install to, and the pledge will stick to it's a pretty cool little tactic, man. Yeah, but that was really early in like the Rap Sesh days. And I can remember when I seen that video, I was like, man, this is pretty cool. Like you know, they're definitely unorthodox and a little different. And
Oh,
but
100%.
you know what I mean? Like they got the YouTube vibe, you know what I mean? But it was pretty cool. It was like, damn, that's a good little slice of.
I love hanging out with them too because you always learn something new. And they are in the fucking trenches. Like, in my opinion, like I told Jess and Mike, I said, y'all rap shit I would never fucking touch. Like, and y'all just eat it up. And like, because y'all just love the challenge. Like, that is just how passionate that you guys are. And like, you're like, I can fucking do this. No one else will touch it. We'll do it.
Yep.
Like I'll get on there and they're rapping a fucking MRI machine and then they're rapping a basketball and I'm like, dude.
Or the gym stuff, you know, when they go in there and do the
dude.
gym
I'm
stuff.
like, dude, that's crazy.
They're rapping everything in a gym, the ceilings, the floors, the everything.
But they're crushing it, man.
They
And
are.
I'm just like, and then that's just that it builds your name and like what you're capable of. And I was talking to her this last time about what they did for this ball and like getting the dimensions to wrap
the
the
basketball.
sphere. And I'm like,
Was it a basketball?
It was a basketball.
Yeah.
They just redid it recently. And I'm like, dude, they took an actual basketball and then did like rough measurements on it and then like
Blew it up.
Yeah, onto the size of what
That's
they're
dope.
working on. And I'm like, it's fucking genius. Like
Their-
they are
their
master
market-
craft.
Their market in that area is tough, dude. I went out there. While I was out there, I actually ended up having dinner with them one night. And it was great. We were hanging out with them, getting to talk to them. But while I was there, I was in Scottsdale. And I want to say that at that point, I think they were in Mesa. And it was pretty close. But you could, I mean, just about every corner, there was a rap car. Like it was like there were everything was wrapped out there. And they've got some big players out there, like big companies that, you know, kind of like in our area. Like here we've got, I don't know how it is in Greenville, but because of the NASCAR market, we've got a lot of really big companies right here that do a lot of, like they're, you know, it's nothing for them to print 1 million square foot a year.
Yeah.
Right. Like you hear that number get thrown around a lot to the point now to where it's like, doesn't even seem like that big a deal. But you go to other towns and, you know, you hear 1 million square foot a year. It's like, holy shit, dude, that's like, that's a ton, that's a lot.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's like for them out there, I know they're in a similar situation where it's like, it's competitive. So I know that, you know, that a lot, like I talk about it a lot on here where I appreciate the hustle, dude. These guys, like a lot of people they throw shade towards people that are out here, you know, they're like, oh man, they're killing the pricing. They're messing up the industry. And it's like, dude, if they're grinding and they're putting out good work, dude, mind your business. You know what I mean? Like let these guys be, right? Cause either they're not going to do good work and they're not going to last, right? Either their pricing is going to be so low that they're not going to be able to survive, right? Like just let them work. This system, well, it'll work that stuff out. Like we don't have to worry about it. It's going to be all right.
Yeah, and it's typically a lot of the people that do get insecure or that are insecure on that because I was the same way. Like in our market, whenever I came in, I was a guy in the backyard and I was fucking undercutting people like a motherfucker, dude.
I mean, if you could survive, like,
well, I didn't have any overhead. I'm working in my backyard.
Exactly.
I mean, and I got a foreclosed home that I got for a fucking screaming deal.
Yep.
You know, I don't have to worry about it, but not everybody else is in that position. So I got a lot of hate early on. But now it's funny because we're the most expensive in our area.
really.
So I don't think, just to play devil's advocate on you, I don't think that people think about the long scale, like long game. They say, oh, well, I'll just come in and I'll slash prices and I'll undercut the market.
Sure.
And that's awesome. Go ahead, do that. Do what you got to do to get your name out there, to get things flowing.
Sure.
But don't do that forever. And I feel like a lot of guys do that, right?
Oh, they just ride it out.
They just ride it out.
Sure,
And so,
sure.
yeah, it's
I see it
eventually
with
they'll put
tenors.
themselves out. Tenors are worse.
Are the
Don't
worst.
get me started on that.
They don't care, right?
It's in a whole car for $100.
They don't give a fuck. And,
Yeah.
and they've been doing it that way for 25 years. It's strange. It is strange.
And there's always a market for that, right? There's always the guy that could, you know, they had to go to the triple chance credit union because they couldn't afford it because they're dog shit with their money. And, you know, they're looking for that $75 tent job. But at the same time, nobody really sees how much money is out here, right? You know, you go overseas or you go in somewhere like Brickell Ave in Florida or, you know, West Palm Beach or some of the places out in California, Beverly Hills, and you see how much money is out there.
Oh, it's nuts.
Dude, you would not be scraping for crumbs. Like you would be shooting for the fucking moon. And that's what a lot of people do is they say, well, they don't value themselves or their time. So they say, well, I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to just undercut everybody. And that's all they do, like you said, for 15 years.
Right.
And everybody continues to do that. And it does bring the market down. So like I've got buddies in California that I tell them prices over here and they laugh. And they're like, dude, there's no fucking way that you're doing that. But again, it goes back to the thing is if everybody raises their prices up, everybody wins.
Sure.
Everybody eats. Everybody gets more.
Yeah, we run into it all the time here because it's fun. It's so funny because when people think of NASCAR, they think, oh man, a bunch of hillbillies, you know what I mean? And these guys are prima donnas. Like, I mean, they're driving around like it. Do you know what a Newell coach is? It's essentially it's like an RV, right? But it's like $1 million RV.
Okay.
And so like all the high end NASCAR guys, that's what they drive. They drive Newell coaches, and they're sick. I mean, they're like, you just
and y'all are probably wrapping those too.
Yeah, right. Well, or something, PPF or something. You know, you're doing something, putting window film on them, something. But the point is it's like they're not hurting for money.
Yeah.
You know, you may think there's some old hillbillies that, you know, aren't doing it. No, this is real money we're talking about. Like, you know, I was fortunate enough to working with Hendrick Motorsports. I got to work with Kyle Larson and his family, and like being there, and like the dude's barn dough, like his garage where he hangs out, where he parks his Newell, is like one of the nicest freaking homes I've ever been in my life.
$4 or $5 million.
Easy. It's gated. You know what I mean? He pulls his Newell inside. He's got like, you know, simulators,
Heated and cooled.
everything. It's
Yeah.
the top of the line. And I'm like, dude, you could live here. And he's like, oh, no, the house is down the street. This is just the garage, you know, not being arrogant, but just like,
No, that's the genuine. Like, we got some customers, same thing. They've invited us up, very similar situation.
it's like, that's the kind of money we're talking about. Like, not, you know, like there's real opportunity out here for everybody. I say that from our area. I don't know.
It's everywhere.
Like
It's everywhere. There's literally opportunity everywhere. And even if there's not opportunity in your state, you can get on TikTok Live and somebody can send you business from another state. So there's nothing but excuses if you say that there's no opportunity, or it's just your mindset's not there because you haven't seen it.
Sure.
And I get it. If you have never done it, it doesn't seem possible.
You brought up Bruno earlier. I'd heard, I haven't had a chance to talk to Bruno about it, but I have seen it in some other businesses, and it does make a huge difference. Some of these places like that, they've got some sort of recurring revenue, right? They found their position. And I want to say, I didn't know this, but I think Metro does a lot in the signage.
100%.
And
I
they
had a
do.
long conversation with him on
With
that.
Bruno?
100%. Yeah.
So this is accurate.
Oh, yeah.
What I'm
this
saying
is
is accurate.
accurate.
Okay. Good.
75% if is what he told me.
Okay. So a lot of people don't see that.
Nope. And
They don't
that's-
even know that exists,
And
right?
so when I came into the industry, you know, color change and custom print is sexy, right?
Oh,
It's the hype. It's what
Yeah.
everybody
Well,
wants
it's what
to
got
see,
you
right?
in, right?
100%.
Yeah.
But
You weren't
that's-
looking at Dan's heating and air going, man, I want to do that.
Nope.
You know?
But I say that I would do things differently, but at the same time, doing what I did, my grind, my hustle, and trying to separate myself out in the color change has also built a name for ourselves as well. So
Foundation, too.
it is. So
You know what I mean? And it set the bar high, the quality high.
and everybody else says that I did it the right order because they said I locked down the hardest thing first, and everything below that is easy. They said tints easy, PPF easy, color change or commercial easy. So they said you literally locked down the hardest thing, and then you worked your way backwards.
As a trainer, I'm seeing it more. If a guy has experience with window tint, I can work with him.
100%, very similar.
Guy comes in with color change. A lot of times he's got bad habits and he don't want to listen because he's had to work his ass off. And so it's a whole lot harder cracking that shell. And I don't know why that it is that way.
For color change,
Just for people that's how they got their start.
care too much.
You think so?
They care too much. Everything's got to be perfect. They're very meticulous. Everything's got to be, you know.
And I guess because if they had to cut their teeth and make it in the color change world, that's just tough.
It is.
It's not easy.
No.
So, you know, hearing some guy like me with dude, you're in your little polo shirt with your mustache. I don't want to hear that shit. You know what I mean? Like, let me take my certification so I can get the fuck out of here.
So I got mad respect for Justin down at ACW.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, him doing nothing but color change. Now, to be fair, the market is way different down there, right? You
100%.
got fuck you money. Just to be frank with you.
Well, and him living, I don't know if people really realize, like, him being 5 miles from Jim Miller's shop. Jim Miller is not
Nothing to play with.
He had nothing to play with. That's
100%.
That's a real deal. Like,
It's a big competitor.
That's the biggest.
To be fair, though, Jim doesn't do a lot of color change stuff.
Dude,
Jim
he does quite a bit.
He does, but in the sense of like he does a lot of commercial.
Sure.
A lot of commercial.
I'll have to reach out to him, and I'd be curious to hear what his split is, because he does it all.
Yeah.
He's been doing it for so long. Like, I would hate to know that was my,
Competition.
Yeah, 5 miles, 6 miles up the road. But
Him
you're
and
right.
Starla are amazing.
They are. They're freaking great people. But you're right, as far as Justin, to be able to be like, that's all right. I'll be all right.
I don't think he's
make it.
done. I think maybe now he's doing maybe some PPF or maybe even a little bit of window
Justin?
tint. Yeah, I think he is now.
So I seen him post something the other day where he was hyping up his printer.
Oh, so now he's got a printer.
He's got a print.
It's funny. Everybody that started in the color change is starting to merge into some
Well,
other
it's a
stuff.
natural progression, right? Makes
It is.
perfect sense. So, but I hope I don't know this, so I might be speaking out of line here a little bit, but I would think if I was in his position that leaning into, like, people know him as the camo guy, maybe print some patterns and make some, kind of lean into that a little bit and make it available. Cause I think he would see a lot of support from the industry.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? There's some people that are going to hate just what it is. It is what it is, but
I'm going to be that guy. I'm
ya?
tired of seeing Dolph camo. No offense.
but it doesn't have to be Dolph, right?
Yeah.
Like if he's the camo guy, like, hey, make ACW camo. Doesn't necessarily have to be Dolph.
He's already got that.
Does he?
Yeah, that's the blue, black, and I think it's like a blue, black, and white or blue, black, and gray or whatever it is.
Oh, like the ghost stuff he did out at SEMA this year?
I didn't see that one, honestly.
It was sick.
So he's had it on his McLaren for a long time. I think it was on the GTR for a little bit, but it was
Primarily
like
white?
No, it's mostly blue.
Blue?
Yeah, I think it was mostly blue. Yeah.
The one he took out to SEMA this year, it looked good. It was like
dude,
a white and gray.
Everything they've done has looked good.
Yeah.
But it's at the same thing. It's like once it's run for so long, it's like,
Sure.
let's come up with something unique.
Diversify
Let's come
a
up with
little
something
bit.
else because now everybody else is wanting to do it. So
Yeah. Well, and he can't stop them, dude. It's so,
dude, he's a genius for doing the numbered Dolph camos.
But
and
even
stuff
now,
like that,
like, there's
so.
people that do that. They knock it off. They don't
Yeah.
even care. They're like, fuck it, I'll just do it.
It was funny. There was like a little tiff between me and him in the beginning. Before the That's Major album dropped, one of our clients was down in Atlanta and saw either one of the G-Wagons or Bentley, whatever it was. And he said, can you recreate this? And so I said, I can. I said, but I won't want to copy it, right? I want to put my own little twist on it so it's not a direct copy. And then we posted it up. And then so that major album dropped or whatnot. And then a couple other cars had been seen with it. And then we had actually done ours like shortly after that. And it was a whole thing. It's like, if it's not ACW camo, it's fake. And I was just like, this fucking guy.
Was he the one that said something?
I think it was, yeah.
Okay.
And
I was going to say, because anymore, he doesn't even really have to, dude. He's got this diehard
oh, dude, the fans will get in
following,
there and just
dude. They
fucking
will destroy
chop you down.
I know. I was like, it was funny because that was our first podcast episode with Justin.
Yeah.
He was our first one. And a lot of people thought that was like, they were like, dude, this is how you want to start this off. And I was like, exactly how I want to start it off. Like, I was hating on that guy. I was the guy at SEMA, like, pff,
Oh, Justin. Oh, he's cool as fuck. He's
Yeah.
so laid back and relaxed and just doesn't.
but that he puts off this thing, like he's just a smug dick. Like he just, you know what I'm saying? From the outside looking in, like I said,
It's just one of those things that he just doesn't care about what people think about him.
He
and
really
I
doesn't.
fucking love that.
Me too. I respect it. Now that I got to know him and know that it's genuine, like that's who he is. Like it's not an act.
No.
He's not putting on a show, but he's also not a smug dick either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was cool. But I'm telling you, the first time I'm sitting there at the rap party, comes in, he's got a Marc Jacobs on, he's got a fucking big chain on, he's got fucking shades on. He just threw out the fucking blunt and he's walking to the center of the thing to accept his award, and he gets up there and he's like, and it's just like, dude,
That's him.
but that's him.
Yeah. I met him in, what was that? It was a half-mile shootout. It was before ACW had even gotten big. It was when he just first purchased his Lamborghini and wrapped it in the blue.
Oh, okay.
I met him at a half-mile shootout. It wasn't Heaven's Landing. I don't remember where the fuck it was in Georgia. But that was the first time I actually met him and introduced myself. And I saw that. I was like, damn, this dude's fucking crushing
He's
it.
doing it.
Yeah, because he had the Lambo, and then come to find out later on, he talked about it in another interview or something that he could barely afford that in the first place, but he had to just kind of jump out in there and do it, right?
No, I mean, he
And,
came on here and Cat Williams gave him that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You get a chance to listen to that episode, dude. It's a fire episode. Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, his story was just like, it had me on the edge of my seat. Like, I didn't know where we were going to go next. Like, hearing him talk about it was just like, wait a minute, dude. I had you on here to talk about camo and raps, and
Dude, yeah, I have to
now
go
we're
and listen
talking
to that
about
for sure.
Cat Williams. Like, he's like, yeah. He's like, he was a homeboy, and he wanted to help take me to the next level.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean? And he just, just pretty much just gave it to him. And he was like, I said, well, okay. So the objective here was he was like, because I'm driving around in a Corvette, and he's like, I got good customers, but they see me as the Corvette guy. He's like, I want
the exotics.
I want that next level. I want to be able to, I want people to know that they can trust me with their, McLaren, their Ferrari, their Rolls Royce. And he's like, yeah, we get some. And Cat Williams, pretty much told him like, hey, look, you got to be driving one.
Yeah.
And, he it's a good episode. Just watch it. You'll appreciate it. It's cool. But he goes into to say it really did make a difference. And it's wild that it takes that.
Perception is reality.
Dude, how But at the same time, he was that guy before.
Oh, he hasn't changed.
You know what I'm saying? He was still, he could do it.
Yeah.
Right. But his customer base was like, Corvette guy. You know what I mean? But he said that he said, honestly, it took me to the next level.
100%.
It's pretty cool.
The guy that does the mentoring and stuff with me, he's been telling me to do the same thing. He's like, go buy an exotic. Just pull the trigger on it. And I've told him, I said, it probably will bring some other stuff in, but at the same time, like, I want to make sure I get my guys taken care of. I always think about the business and my guys versus, hey, this guy just went out and bought a fucking, Lamborghini or.
Well, you said that you're doing the custom color change stuff, but is this is that direction you think that you guys are headed as far as like the commercial stuff? Like, is that something that you're really
100%.
Yeah.
I want to start pursuing and doing something a little bit more unique than, don't get me wrong, like doing fleet stuff like that, there's a huge market for it, and we definitely will try to kind of jump in on some of that market share. But at the same time, I think that doing some of the more unique stuff is going to open up some more opportunities too.
Gotcha. It'll separate you too.
I think it will, especially in the commercial space. So we had to do something different in the color change space. So for us, being different was the professional photo and video and giving that to our clients and giving them almost like a client experience. Like, there's even some stuff like we'll bring them on the shoot with us. Mm-hmm. Like, we'll let them be a part of it. Like,
that's cool.
We'll say, hey, we'll have walkie-talkies and stuff like that.
I bet they're jacked about it too.
Dude, 100%. And they're going to go brag to everybody and their mom, right?
Like the people that from that, they had to share the photo shoot stuff, right?
Oh, 100%.
They're using
like,
it as marketing correct.
Josh, if you get a second, if you pull up our page again, if you scroll down for some of the stuff, I mean, you can kind of see some of the stuff that Wayne from Vision to Inspire has done. He's fucking crushed it, right? But there's some people, this is OG stuff. This is back when I was back behind my garage.
Oh, that's not bad. You made it sound like you were out in a shed. That looks like a nice setup.
It's a 30 by 40. It wasn't terrible.
Yeah. You're in a good.
You're way back. He was looking for that dirt.
I was looking for
that dirt.
I was looking for the Dolph camo, but I think I might have passed it.
Oh yeah, it's way back.
I figured you were looking for the flip flops in the backyard.
So this is right here. Scroll back down. This is what set us apart right here. Right there.
The Lambo?
We did a Lambo, a McLaren, and a Maserati, all custom print. Scott Keppel, wherever you are.
I don't know where he's at either, but he was the guy.
He was the guy. So we did those.
He was
we
the
took
Glarb 10 years ago.
Yeah,
we
took those to SEMA 2019. That was that's what really set it off for us. These tacos are wrecking me.
Sorry, man.
No, they were amazing. I'd do it again.
Yeah, me too.
This is what really, really set it off for us, and kind of it showed people like him owning the Corvette and getting the Lambo. Like for us, just doing the exotics specifically in our area really, really opened up the door for us. So literally right after SEMA, I went from my garage to our new shop. Literally like a month later. I think I did one more job back behind the house, but we did all these back behind the house. And my house is not necessarily the nicest area. Let's just put it that way.
I mean,
so to have $500,000 in cars,
looks clean, lights look nice.
Perception is reality.
Sure, I hear you. Well, we just did an episode with this guy named Chris from Bay Imaging, and he's got a shop at his house, and you'd never know it. I mean, it's a legit shop, and I didn't know it.
The Millers was back behind his house.
That's true too. Well, yeah, it's in a neighborhood.
Massive. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and it's an iconic shop.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I feel you.
So, I mean, again, perception is reality. If you bring, it doesn't matter where you are. If you bring the professionalism, people will do it. Now, there's a funny story.
This looks legit, dude. I mean, the
funny story about this guy. We met up at a Twin Peaks and discussed all of the business, right? He writes me a check at Twin Peaks. I cash the check. I go ahead and I pay Scott to design. We get the design proof. We move forward. I buy the print from Metro Restyling. And all the stuff is lined up for SEMA, right? He goes to actually come and drop the cars off. He gets his buddies are shit to drop off. And I give him the address and he pulls up to my house. And he's like, I think the address is wrong. And I said, no, it's not. He's like, it's behind a house. I said, yeah, it is. And his buddies were like, dude, I don't know about this guy. Like they started getting that weird vibe because, it looks sketches on the back of the house. And I told the guy flat out, I said, listen, we've got 2 weeks before SEMA. I've already got prints and everything else. You can have it. You can go to somewhere else. I said, but no one else is going to get you in fast enough. I said, you've already seen my work. You trusted me this far. So it's either make a decision, shit or get off the pot.
Yeah, that sucks because if they would have just stepped foot into it, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that shop at all. I mean, that's a
perception is reality, man.
I hear you.
It's back behind the house. So
30 by 40. How many cars could you put in there?
A comfortably, probably 3. So if you see here, they're side by side. I got the race ramps kind of in the middle. Each square of concrete is only about 10 foot. So it's enough to get the car in, but not have a lot of room to open doors.
Sure.
So you're realistically only looking about 3 or 4 cars tops. And that is not really a lot of room for disassemble. But yeah, so back to my point, this right here, no, you're fine. This right here, I just read that comment. Skepple said, freaking hot. Can you email me this video? I don't think I ever did. This right here really put us on the map for doing exotic stuff, but this was also trying to separate ourselves out for the commercial or for the color change side of things, is doing the photo, the video, the time lapse. Nobody else was really even doing this not that long ago. And then, so for the commercial space, I want to do something that sets us apart as well. And that's kind of doing that hybridized. Let's do commercial, but at the same time, let's make it unique till it jumps out and is a showpiece, a conversation starter. Someone's going to take photos of it and post it on a car spotter page or whatever else it is.
I don't know if Josh Elsenheimer coined this or not, but he was the first one that I heard talk about a commercial color change. And he brought it up several times where he goes just a little bit further.
Yeah, that's just not like doing drop cuts, right?
Right,
So
exactly. That's just a little bit further. And he's an installer. So, excuse me. He's
Taco's getting you too
me
now.
too. He, but and for you're producing graphics. You're seeing it as turnkey, right? So it's a little bit different. He's in a little bit different of a situation, but I think his mind was there, right? Like, what can I do to add that next little bit of step?
Separate.
Just separate me from all the rest of these guys. There's plenty of guys that'll come in here and flush cut these edges, drop that channel in. Let's just go just a little bit further.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I like that. I think that you're exactly right. He's getting work, right? Whereas I see guys posting all the time. They're like, hey, man, if I'm available next week, blah, blah, blah. He's getting work. And I think it's because, and for him, I've got to know him a little bit here recently and working with him some. And like some of that is just because he cares. He gives a fuck, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of the same thing for you, right? You're saying like, yeah, I want to play in the fleet space or the commercial space, but if I'm going to go over there,
I want to put my own unique twist on it.
Exactly.
Right? I'm not trying to stand out just enough. I'm not trying to figure out whether I'm colorblind or not, right? I'm not just seeing the one that just barely is a shade darker, right? I want to be fucking like, this is black and white. Like clearly that's the one.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's obviously different, right? Like there was a time where you could look at a design and say, yeah, that's probably a Skepple design.
100%.
You could almost pick it out every single time.
And especially anything distressed.
Right. Yeah. You knew it was him. Yeah. Like that is almost guaranteed. Like he's the guy. And I think for artists, it's a little easier, right? Because they can, once they get a style, like now when you see something, you about know it's a Glarb design.
I was going to say, man, Glarb kind of has that. If you ask me personally, I think he is a very well-rounded.
For sure.
He can do.
Oh, I'm not putting him in a box.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, normally I can look at something, like you said, that's a Skepple design, that's a this, like curvaceous wraps, right? But I can look at Glarbs and I'm like, damn, I honestly don't know who did this. I think it's Ryan.
Right.
And it ends up being Ryan.
Sure.
But it's one of those.
Well, you said it earlier about Christina. How did you put it? There was like a certain attention to detail or hyper realism.
Yeah, hyper realism for faces and people and just attention to detail on some of these things.
And so it's kind of the same thing. Like she's not limited on what she can design necessarily, but you can about look at it, and if it's got that element to it, if it's that level, that's probably her, right? And I feel the same way about Ryan. Although you're right, Ryan is well rounded, but you can just look at it and you're like, that's got a Ryan flair to it. Yeah, I can smell the Glarb pouring off that thing. You know what I mean? Like that's what And
so I coined that phrase.
That love, sweat, and tears. Just laying on
it's real. And so I think so. For installers, there's a little bit there, and there, but for for you looking at it from a production side and saying, okay, yes, I want to make sure that but you got to do it almost from all three. You're doing it from production, installation, and design. You know what I mean? And you're trying to bring that to the table. And I think it's very possible. And Metro's another good example of that.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Bruno's fucking killed it. That's why we've always looked up to him in a lot of ways that they do it. I got to actually meet him for the first time back in 22. We did a Corsa rally, which was another rally for exotic cars, whatnot. We did one of those down in Florida. And I was like, this is my time because I don't get down here that often. And when I do, it's like strictly vacation. I'm like, I ain't talking to nobody. Like I'm coming out here to vacate, and I am vacating. But on the rally, I was like, dude, we are all the way down in Key Largo. I'm going to be hitting as many shops as possible, and I'm going to talk to as many people as possible on the way up. And so Bruno was one of them. Now,
one of the shops you hit?
Yeah. Now, granted, this is like height of COVID, right? And we walk in.
So you're assuming not everybody's going to be super welcoming.
Yeah, I really didn't know how this was going to go, but I'm like, I'm down here. I got to shoot my shot, right?
Floridians, right? They're on another level.
Yes and no, but they
really?
Bruno really took it like he was like making sure that his staff was good and like.
okay.
I mean, ultimately
Good for
we
him.
still walked in and he did show us around, but it was very like, who the fuck are y'all like rolling up in here and like, how can I help you? And it wasn't like standoffish or anything. I think it kind of caught him off guard and then.
Well, sure. Like you said, during COVID, that was just the world.
Yeah.
That's just what the world had turned into.
We walked in and asked, and it was kind of like, and then we stood outside for a little bit and waited. And I was like, all right, well, this is not looking like it's going to be anything. And so then one of the other guys came in and was like, hey, he's with a client. Yeah, y'all can, kind of hang tight here. And then he came out and was like, so what do you guys do? What do you want to do? And we start chatting and everything. And then he really started to open up then, right? So I had my video guy with me, Wayne, and Bruno like apparently did film at some point in time or like really was into film or something from what I can remember. Don't crucify me if I mess that up, but so they started hitting it off and talking about film and everything, and you can see it in like what he does. Like you can see his vision in the production, and I'm not saying that he tells people like how to do it, but I in my head I'm imagining like he sees the finished product and then he sees how he wants it filmed, and I guarantee you he gives pointers on like, hey, you should do something kind of like
You're talking about like the video?
Yeah, I really do. And I'm not saying that he does do that, but the way how passionate he talked about like some of the film stuff, I think that he's just got it in him. He can see the shots.
So you're saying that the content that they put out is a good representation of who he is from an art standpoint.
100%.
That's cool.
And you see it. You see the art and the design.
It's interesting the way you're wording it though, because it's almost like you don't know for sure that he's hands-on, but by the looks of it, you fucking know.
Yeah.
You know,
just
like
from talking to him
Yeah,
and
cool.
how he talked, I was like, yeah, he definitely, this is him. This is how he is. This is who he is.
It
this
makes
is
sense.
his vision. Right. So
I got you.
But he was like super cool, invited us in, let us check out the shop. And I talked to him about that same thing. And we got talking about color change and signage and all that stuff. And he's the one that really opened me up to commercials. So this is like 2022. We'd already had our printer. And he was like, 75% of what we do is all signage and fleet. He said 25% of what we do is color change and, yada, yada, yada. But he said, I lose money doing this. I said, what do you mean? He's like, I lose money doing this. He's like, I think it was the project of the Blue Lagoon or whatever it was. He said he lost.
Green one? What was that thing called? Yep. Damn, that was quick, Lambert. Let's go, baby.
I was already looking at it.
I need to get out of my fucking head.
Dude.
Anyways.
I mean, he missed the first 4 searches, so he's making up for it. This is good.
I think that this was this project that he said that he lost a shitload of money on.
This was like the Avery Rap Like a King or something?
It was.
Yeah.
But I mean, you don't, if again, coming from somebody who's maybe never done this, nobody really knows how much it costs to get videography done or like professional videography and professional
or
photography.
artwork. I mean, the artwork on that thing's no joke.
No, it's not. And people don't realize how much effort and like, I don't know, I wasn't even there, but like door jams, that right there, shit ton of work. Them doing the 3D texture over top of it.
Yeah, the scales and everything.
Like, the amount of labor, material cost, everything that they did. I mean, I know he lost money on this one, but you know what? He made a fucking name for himself. He's a staple in the community.
But you've
fucking
seen
crushed it.
You've seen the boat, right?
Yeah, they matched it.
They matched the boat. Like, so that's pretty cool. Like that was a sweet project. That was a big deal, And that's cool too, because we talked about this earlier. Like, he's the guy.
Yeah.
He fits. You think that he's a good representation of what that is.
100%.
And that's cool. It's supposed to be that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's some guys that snake their way in, or they fake their way and fake it till you make it. Like, and I'm all for that. But at some point,
You got to make it.
you got to make it, and you need to fill the gap. You need to, and if you're the person that's putting out stuff like that, make sure you're the guy.
Yeah, you got to be smoking what you're selling.
Because there's going to be somebody like you.
Yeah,
exactly. If imagine this went the other way and you showed up and he's like, oh, I don't know, we it was cool. It was a neat prod. You'd have seen right through every bit of that. And this conversation we're having right now would be completely different. You'd be like, hey, look, I went down there, no real shade, but he's kind of full of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because that's who you are. You're not going to come in here and gas up somebody for what? You're not going to do that. It doesn't make any sense. So that's why I always like hearing that. Like,
authenticity.
It's so critical. It's so important because you can fake so much on the internet. You know what I mean? Like, I've met some of these people in the industry and it's a letdown. You know what I mean? You meet them and you're just
I'm
like,
sorry, I can leave.
yeah, doors that way. No, I'm just kidding. No, you've been good.
You've been here for like 7 hours already. If we would have kicked you out a long time ago.
But so for
It's
you,
been 7 hours.
I don't know. So
I don't have a hotel room for tonight.
I think that in your situation, it's a little different because it would be so hard for you to fake it because of the lives,
Yeah.
right? Like you can't put on a show like that all the time.
No, there's nothing to hide behind.
You get on Instagram, throw up a filter, change the angle a little bit. You can, it's like you said, like in your mind, you're looking at your old shop and you're going, I don't know, dude.
Oh, that was definition of fake it till you make it.
But
100%.
that's what you can look at. I'm looking at it, I'm going, I don't know, dude. I've wrapped in way worse places.
yeah, I would have killed to have that.
Yeah.
Before
You go
this.
into like wash bays, like we joke around on the podcast, but Josh has literally been out to barns,
yeah,
like where the donkeys are,
Jesus.
and wrapping vehicles.
wrapping in fucking red dirt.
It was more beneficial. He's been in I can remember him calling me and saying, dude, I'm going to pull it outside. I'm better off wrapping it outside
That's
than I
wild.
am in this fucking shithole.
Bros in the fucking Sahara Desert wrap.
Yeah.
And
Well,
he's
you say you've got a covered space to wrap in, and then you get there, and it's just like a
fucking oak
metal
tree.
metal shed and gravel.
He's sending me snaps of goats.
So-
you know what I mean? I'm like, what are you doing? He's like,
like-
I don't know. There's a goat out here.
It's burning like I don't
are we
know, the
doing?
heat from the shed is burning me, so I'm just gonna pull it out underneath the oak tree and just get
That was
after
his
it.
covered space. It was
Yeah.
an oak tree and a light pole.
And Billy Bob that ran the farm was like, round 130, there's a taco wagon.
And then at the
Fella with a sombrero is going to walk up. And
I'm there
score
for
you
the
a couple
taco
tacos.
wagon
Me too.
already, but-
right.
then at the end of the job they say, well, we've got a few more of these. If,
don't.
if you're interested, I say,
No, you
yeah, get that. See, that's why I can
I got
get
a
in
guy
touch with
that I
Mike.
would subcontract that out to.
Yep.
Yeah.
wouldn't
I
do
got
that
a
to my
phone
worst
number.
enemy.
But so that's what I like. I think that's a really good example of it because, like I said, you wouldn't be able to tell. I think that looked fantastic, and so. But with the lives, like I said, you can't hide it.
Yeah.
If you're a piece of shit and you're doing something wrong, and
You'll see it.
you're gonna see it.
Going back full circle to what we talked about. So like in the very beginning, I was actually very insecure about working out of that shop because I wanted to be taken seriously, right? Like I know that I can do this and I want to come with like 100% professionalism, but I only have so much to work with. And I think that's what holds a lot of guys back because they're not where they want to be. They don't ever start. Right.
Got
So you don't have to have, I didn't have heat and AC in that. That was a fucking nightmare. Right.
Sure.
Or restroom or running water and no other thing. I had to walk, to my house to do all that stuff.
Sure.
Bro, my fucking cutting table was my extra bedroom. Right.
Gotcha.
I had it on a mattress. My wife can verify how many fucking comforters I cut through. So like,
That's funny.
that's where I started, and I didn't want people to see that because again, you might not make the job because perception is reality. So like in those very beginning points, it's very important to have confidence and knowing that just because where you are doesn't mean that's where you're gonna be.
Right.
And then like owning that shit, like I fucking work in my backyard. I don't have overhead. That's why I'm able to get you this price for so good. So if you're bitching about where I'm at, go down the street and go get charged $3,000 more.
Right.
Own the shit.
Yep.
Don't try to hide it and do like that's what I tried to do in the beginning was try to hide it, and then I'm like, I'm fucking here. I can't change it for now.
yeah.
This is where I'm at. I'm gonna.
Well, it sounds like it almost turned into your superpower, right? Like you could be upfront with them. You could tell them. Like,
guess,
Do
yeah.
you know how huge that is to be able to look at a customer and say, "Hey, look, man, I completely understand you're a little uncomfortable backing up in my garage, but the price reflects it, homie.
Yeah.
Take it down the street. Like that's confidence because you already know." And I tell guys that all the time. I'm like, man, you want to, because pricing's always a hot topic. Everybody wants to know pricing, right? And it's like, it's pretty simple.
What do you value it for?
Yep.
And what is someone is willing to pay? That for a definition for anybody who's made it this far on the podcast. Hey, bravo.
Yeah,
Give a
thank
round of
y'all. Thank
applause.
y'all so much.
So
We are
somebody-
long-winded.
yeah.
Zach Stock said this is a long podcast.
You are
Oh,
not
yeah.
Ryan.
It
Oh, that's
is.
one of my guys there, Zach.
Is it?
Talking about, yeah.
Very cool.
He said, did he shit talk 3M yet?
No, I hadn't shit talked 3M yet.
No, there was a little hint in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You said they peaked at 2015. I don't know if that's shit talking, but that's it's a
Stand by my statement. But no, seriously though, I think if you just own that shit, I think that's huge.
It's
I
big.
really wish that I would have done that sooner. And I think a lot of people could benefit from that as well. But pricing, value, what I was saying, the definition of value is what someone is willing to pay for it. I could pull out a big pen and some crackhead is not going to pay you anything for it.
Sure,
but,
it's useless to 'em.
someone else, maybe, their dad owned Bic and they fucking died and that's the last pen left. They'll pay anything that they want. Maybe he wrote with that pen. So value and pricing is assigned to whatever someone brings to the table.
Sure.
So you need to value yourself, your time, your knowledge, what you've put in. You set the price. Fuck everybody else. If you don't want to pay for it or the market's not there, then the business wasn't viable anyways.
Right.
Or secondly, you can actually price accordingly based on the value that you bring.
Sure.
So
Yeah, and you can
that's my 2 cents.
You can identify.
My bad. 4 cents rounded for inflation.
You can identify it really quickly. You know what I mean? Because if you can look at your cost of living, like there's all types of different equations and strategies and techniques.
You think I was doing equations when I was in my backyard? I didn't have a P&L. I didn't know what the fuck anything was. I was like, I can wrap a car and make money.
Exactly. That's when I say that. I should be clear. Like you're saying, okay, I got to pay the power bill.
Hell yeah. I was like, I just fucking quit my job and my wife is now fronting the bill, right? I'm like, I got to not let her down, not lose the house. Right. We already bought a foreclosure. It ain't about to go in again for foreclosure.
Right.
Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Burn the fucking boats and let's conquer.
Go. Yeah, let's get it done. Yeah. And so I think it's good for people to hear that stuff, man. I don't know if it gets talked about enough because, again, somebody could jump on your live and see you having a shop and a printer and guys and think,
must be nice.
Must be nice. Yeah. That's right.
And you could have it too if you stop doing that.
Yep. So on the last podcast, we got to a point, and I asked TJ, and I really like doing this because he hit on some really good stuff. I do want to move into a Q&A.
Absolutely.
I think that'll be cool. If any way that we need to preface that's useful, we can. We can also take a quick break. I don't know where you guys are as far.
Well, do you want to close?
How many people we still got in the live over here on mine? I'm just genuinely curious.
14 right now.
Okay.
In my live?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's a fair number.
Yeah.
But if
the OGs in here,
I think now is the perfect time to wrap up the podcast portion of it. We've been going for 2.5 hours.
Do you where are you at as far as that's what I wanted to ask you. Is there anything else that you want to touch on while we're thinking about it? Like anything that we missed that was real critical? I want to say there was a couple stories that you were gonna hit on that I wanted to ask about and I already forgot. So
we can save it for another one.
Yeah, I'm not going to be here again at some point in time.
That's all I needed to hear.
Yeah, you already know that's not going to be the case.
That's happening. All right. Well, cool. Well, man, I appreciate you coming up. It's been awesome.
Absolutely.
Again, dude, just getting a chance.
You having me.
Yeah, getting a chance to know you and getting to you being willing to show us a little bit behind the curtain, even more so than the lives, right?
I was going to say, everybody who's in here can tell you how transparent I am. Like, sure. We show everything. We show fuck ups. We show pricing. we don't care.
Sure.
Because at the end of the day, it's like what you said. Nobody is going to have your experiences. There is only one you. No one can ever, unless we get cloning technology figured out.
Sure.
At the moment, you only have to worry about you.
Right.
So why would you be worried about anybody else for quote unquote competition? You can always bring something that your competition can't. It's up to you to figure out what that is.
Sure. No, I love it, man. I think that's awesome. So like I said, I appreciate it. They can find you on social medias across the board. It's all Precision Wraps and Graphics.
Precision Wraps and Graphics across the board.
TikTok is really the spot, though.
We have YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Dude, it's everything. It's literally across the board.
Awesome. So they can find you on all platforms.
Yep.
Cool. Like you said, appreciate everybody that stuck around for the lives. This has been really cool. It's completely different for us, kind of out of the pocket a little bit, but I appreciate you recommending it.
Anytime.
I think that was badass. And we'll do it again. So,
100%.
Lambert, we good?
Yep.
All right, cool.
All right, let's go.